Hey, this is Mark A. Altman, and if you're a fan of this podcast, you already know the 50-year mission is definitive oral history of Star Trek, and Secrets of the Force will tell you everything you want to know about the history of Star Wars. But what you probably don't know is Ed Gross and I have a new book coming out this July. They Shouldn't Have Killed His Dog, the complete, uncensored, ass-kicking oral history of John Wick, Gun Fu, and the new age of action. Coming from St. Martin's in hardcover, digital, and audio. You can order it today.
Welcome back to the 430 Movie. We got our expert programmers here to curate fantasy theme weeks of classic films.
From 1998, film directed by Steven Soderbergh called Out of Sight.
Yes.
Soderbergh directs it with such a sort of confident, self-assured style.
Lex Luthor in Superman.
What is it about Gene Hackman that...
His performance, it's off the charts, but still in reality. Fiendishly gifted.
1981 Sam Raimi opus, The Evil Dead.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Fine choice.
Sam Raimi invented entirely new ways to get shots that should not have been possible with the amount of money that he did not have.
Charade.
Yeah. Oh, so
directed
good.
by Stanley Donen. It's a textbook screenplay. It's just effortless, and there's not a wrong note in this movie. Can't say enough great things about it. We'll be back next Friday with an all-new episode of the 430 Movie, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Join us now for the 430 Movie.
The 430 Movie Podcast is available weekly wherever you listen to podcasts and on the free Electric Now app. Download it today.
Hello and welcome to Best Movies Never Made, the podcast where we talk about interesting and infamous movies that never made it to or through production. Most of the time, the movies you're trying to make don't get made.
Like 4 of them may happen, 1 of them may happen, none of them may happen, and I'll be attached to 3 more things by end of summer.
Turn the script into something resembling like Unforgiven with Conan.
Yeah.
Sadly, the rights expired and the whole thing just like went away overnight.
New episodes will be available every other Monday. We won't see you at the movies.
Best Movies Never Made, as featured in Entertainment Weekly, is available wherever you listen to podcasts and on the free Electric Now app. Hey, this is Mark A. Altman.
And this is Darren Doctorman, and we are the Inglorious
Treksperts. And oh, Darren, have we got a show? Not only show,
Mark,
but guests galore. This is going to be a good one. You know what we're doing today?
We got an episode that's action-packed, Pee-wee.
Action-packed. It's Desert Island Treks.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour.
We're stranded on a planetoid somewhere out there in the universe with only our favorite Star Trek stuff for sustenance. No volleyballs. No Rolling Stone top 100. We do have a power supply that is apparently unending, endless,
and visual equipment.
And we got that super battery from Elon Musk.
Laser discs.
Lasers. We got lasers. So look, I want to introduce you to everybody that we rounded up for this one. This is important. And first I want to thank my good friend Kevin Levy for suggesting this. It was his idea to do a Desert Island Treks. I said, that's extraordinary.
Extraordinary, yeah.
and speaking of extraordinary, here's some extraordinary guests. Once again, the returning honorary Trekspert. You know him as the writer of Thor and X-Men First Class. He's the showrunner on DOTA Dragon's Blood, which is dropping this month on the
August
Netflix,
11th.
August 11th. And he is none other than Ashley Edward Miller.
Hello. Greetings.
And returning from the Robservatory at an undisclosed location underneath a mountain somewhere. It is, oh yeah, we can't tell people. We can't let them know his location because he's wanted.
Volcanic lair.
So many people are out there trying to get to him. So his volcano, just like you only live twice. He lives in a hollowed out volcano.
I do.
And he has, instead of a cat, he has a dog. So it's, of course, the Robservations of Robert Meyer Burnett.
It's great to be back. Thanks for inviting me to do this. I like living on a desert island.
I bet you do.
Or a desert asteroid.
It's been too long since our next guest graced the Treksperts. We're thrilled to have her back. You know her as a producer and writer on such shows as Swamp Thing, Millennium, and she's currently the consulting producer on Shining Vale on Stars. And if you haven't seen that, you should check that out. It's KAY REINDL.
Hello, glad to be here. I hope there's a hotel somewhere near this island because I do not like camping.
Yeah, I'm only staying on 5-star planetoids, not 4, not 3. It's like glamping. I won't go camping. I have to go glamping.
The island from Gilligan's Island, but after they built the resort.
Oh, love it.
After the Harlem Globetrotters show.
After the Harlem Globetrotters.
Let's just say that the insectoid inhabitants that used to populate this planetoid have carved out a really nifty underground resort hotel. So
with a casino and an all-girl band.
There's no beach underground.
Because it's
one of the number one draws of the desert island.
No beach to walk on.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, is it the Ovion planet? Is it?
It could be. Yes, it could be.
Or is it Hanson? He's becoming visual, and our days are numbered.
Look,
I don't like that part though.
No,
everyone's days are numbered.
No, we're going to be on it. It is good. I think Gilligan's Island. It's going to be good. And there's a Klingon stranded on the island who still thinks he's at war with the Federation. Little does he know that there's no longer. That's no longer the case. We have to convince him.
He's played by Vito Scotti.
Oh my gosh! Or maybe it's just Fantasy Island. Maybe Ricardo Montalbaum is there.
Oh, great, Montalbaum.
That's
a different. That's like Warrior Island or something.
Yeah,
Jesco Van Puttermaker. Okay, so well, look, this is gonna be there's a lot to go over here, a lot to unpack, as the kids say. So we're going to start, and again, this could be, just so you know, episodes, could be comic books, it could be books, it could be anything, Star Trek related or Star Trek related ephemera. However, I want, just so you think, this is not a best of list. This is not like, oh, these are our favorite. Maybe they are. Maybe somebody's just going to take their favorite episodes, but it's stuff you want to have because you only have these 10 Star Trek things that you will have that for the rest of your life, unless you're rescued, and so this is stuff that you want to have on this island because you may be stuck watching it for the next 40, 50 years if we're lucky. So anyway,
so far. So
that's what we're doing. So I want to start with the guests because they're guests of the show. And I guess let's start with to welcome her back. Let's start with Kay. Kay, what's your first pick for a desert island trek?
Okay, so I kind of did half and half here, and I've got like a bag of episodes, and I'm going to pull until I get 10. But I chose some that I think are genuinely fantastic, and then I chose others. So I think I'm going to start with something genuinely fantastic. And that will be Yesterday's Enterprise from Star Trek Next Generation. I think this is the best shot of any Next Generation episode. It looks absolutely stunning. And I just love the alternate reality of it. I can watch that episode whenever it's on.
Isn't it amazing what happens when you turn down the lights a little? It's like just a little bit darker.
Just a little bit.
And
suddenly it's dramatic and not a hotel lobby.
And suddenly it's like the W instead of the Hilton. It's like,
and you do not see the purple mauve carpeting. It's just better. Yeah. Give everybody guns or weapons and turn the lights
belts. It's true. We've gone from Howard Johnson's to Ian Schrager, and it's great. So I totally agree with you about that. What a great pick, and what a great episode that we all love.
And apparently Tasha Yar has a comb.
Which is awesome. They have combs in the future.
Yeah, but only
that's terrific. That's reassuring.
That's right.
It's amazing how all she could do, Denise, complain about how awful, how she had nothing to do that whole first season, which is true. I'm not criticizing her. It was just, she had nothing to do, and then she comes back and she gets this phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
And they should have stopped right there.
Yeah.
Because the whole sailor thing.
Oh my God.
Sailor rules. Come on now.
Oh, come on,
No.
Rob.
I have so many questions, not the least of which, because this always bothers me, is why is she blonde?
Yeah.
There's no reason sailors should be blonde. None at all. It's insane.
It's so Dynasty to me. It's so soapy.
It's terrible.
And I like Denise. I just like, you could have come back and just mic dropped on yesterday's Enterprise. But instead, it's a law of diminishing returns. Every time she comes back, it's a little worse. Yeah.
That's true.
But let's emphasize the positive.
All good things. All good things. It was a good way to
No,
go
that
off.
doesn't count because she's playing Tasha Yar and it's the multiple timelines. It's like having Cranston and Aaron come back and do an episode of Better Call Saul. That's cool.
Not to be spoiler or anything.
Yeah.
Look, anybody who doesn't know that, they shouldn't be listening to the show.
I didn't know that.
I actually just started watching Better Call Saul. I'm in season 5 now.
Nice.
I'm trying to.
Well, I didn't give anything away about what happens. I'm just saying that they might drop by.
Maybe.
They might drop by.
I heard
they want a cup of sugar.
Might.
Yeah, it's in the news. It's in the news like Batgirl.
I think
What about that Batgirl?
We should just say that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern come back. How's that?
This Batgirl news is crazy. Can you believe this?
How bad must it be that you're going to eat $90 million?
So can I just say that we are dealing with a studio that was just sold, basically, and there's a lot going on with. Whoa, wait a minute! I just came in to get a look at the books. What's going on? So
I don't believe for a second
necessarily
that you take a $90 million write down because it didn't begin on your regime and the movie is almost done. I refuse to believe this.
Don't forget, it's not just Batgirl.
Yeah,
they also the Scooby-Doo, the $40 million Scooby-Doo movie too.
I wish Paramount did the same thing.
I'm sure that movie is terrific.
I wish Paramount stopped releasing certain things and took the write-off. Okay, so that was yesterday's Enterprise. We're going to go now to Rob Burnett with his first pick. Always interesting, I'm sure. Rob, what's your first?
Which book is it going to be?
No. I'm going to follow Kay's lead and also be incredibly self-serving at the same time.
Right.
By taking my Next Generation complete series box set.
You can't take the whole thing.
Can't I?
The whole thing.
Why can't I take that?
You can't take the box set.
It's one item. And not only can I take it, it's also got all the documentaries Roger Lay and I made.
Okay,
you're over the
I would
luggage
allow
limit.
you all the documentaries, but not all the episodes.
Why not?
Yeah, you can take the VAM. You could take the VAM, but you can't take all the episodes. No, it's too heavy for the luggage. You can't board the shuttle with that much luggage.
It's in my carry-on.
When you arrive, you would realize that everything had been erased except for one goddamn thing.
Okay, you know what? You're making this up as you go along.
That's right.
All right, fine. I will discard my complete box set, which is one item.
Well, you're just going to have to pick card one.
And I'm going to take Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens' novel Prime Directive.
Prime Directive, good choice.
You're a bastard because that was my first choice.
Prime Directive. Yeah, well, since I couldn't bring my first choice, I'm taking yours.
That's fine.
Although that book is almost as heavy as the box set.
It's not that bad.
No, I got the paperback, bruh.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Come on.
You can even take the hardcover. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go. Okay,
yeah,
that's more like it.
I signed hardcover at home because I didn't want to be in a plane. For this very reason.
Right, in case you went marooned.
For all eternity, buried in the center of a dead planet.
Buried alive. Buried alive. That's where we should be stranded. On the Genesis planet.
This is the desert island that
they don't know that we're there, man.
No one knows.
No, because ours could seem like days. And the show could seem like weeks. Okay, so Ashley Miller, no box sets, no Lieutenant Yar. What's your pick?
I'm gonna follow Rob's lead a little bit here, and I'm gonna pack everything Star Trek I own into one box and just bring it because that's just one item.
JK's mystery box.
So you're not going to allow that. So instead, what I'm going to do is I am also going to bring a book, because if we were going to be in an island, I can't think of anything I would rather do than sit on the beach and read. And the book that I would bring with me is the first of the pocket Star Trek novels that I actually loved. Right, the first one that I read was was Entropy Effect, which is great. But the one that I would bring with me that I loved was the 18th book in the series, with a cover by mother effing Boris Vallejo, written by Diane Duane, the coolest representation of the Romulans in the history of Star Trek. A little book called My Enemy, My Ally, and it is fantastic.
And it gives the Romulans their own name for the first time.
It does.
The Rihansu.
But there are no Remans. No Remans.
There are no Remans.
Makes it even better.
None.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
They're not canonical.
Good book, huh?
Yeah, it's a great. By the way, are we allowed to share each other's stuff when we bring it?
I think we should.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like
None of you people, if you touch my stuff, I'll kill you.
No, I think we could share. But I think that nobody should repeat. Like if somebody says an episode,
that's what I mean.
We should not repeat. Yeah.
Right,
So you assume you can share. Assume we're all stranded on this planetoid, right? So is there, so whatever we took with us, we can share, except for Rob, who apparently doesn't want to be a mensch.
No, I'll share. I was just quoting Stripes.
It's not like you brought the autographed copy.
It's true.
So, you'll still have that at home when you get rescued.
Yeah, if we ever get rescued. I thought we were here forever.
Well, maybe not. I don't know.
We don't know.
That's next week's episode. Okay. So Ashley picked My Enemy, My Ally by Diane Duane. And big Romulan episode. Now that brings us to none other than Darren Doctorman. And
yes, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, if we go by the book, like Mark Altman wants us to, we're only allowed to take one thing. So I'll only take one thing. The difference is it's all in my mind. And that is the entire 4K Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition.
Nope, you can only take one.
Yeah, that's only one.
Oh, you're just taking the director's, not the special longer version, not the theatrical.
Special longer version.
No bloody A, B, C, D,
or
E.
So you're taking Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's.
But it's all in my mind, so there's no extra baggage.
But then how can we share it?
I'll act it out for you.
And gain strength from the sharing.
Wait, are you bringing it or not? I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm bringing it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Damn
in 4K.
We do have a Blu-ray player.
We have a 4K player. Region free. I'll give you that. Region free Blu-ray player.
4K player from Panasonic. It's beautiful. And a cheap video screen.
And solar panels somehow made it. We have a connection to the surface with solar panels somehow.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep, that we do. See, it's not so bad.
It's like the Swiss Family Robinson, only different.
Yeah, it's like the Swiss Family Robinson. Exactly.
You mean it's like Lost in Space?
Yeah.
This would be the worst episode of Lost in Space since the Great Vegetable Revolution.
Or the best.
It would be the best ones because all they're doing is watching Star Trek episodes.
Yeah.
And reading.
Which is fundamental. Okay, that's a fine choice. So I guess that brings us
to
you.
To me. Well.
Mr. Man.
It's not going to be Airplane 2, the sequel. I'll tell you that.
ALTMAN.
You know what? I'm going to go straight down the middle. You guys all, binging and bopping and serpentining shell. I'm going to go straight down the middle. I'm going to bring City on the Edge of Forever because it's not only a great episode. It's freaking, I can watch it again and again. I love it. Never get tired of it. And I believe that, sometime in the future, Let Me Help will be, and then, we'll need all the help we can get to get off this planetoid. So I'm going to take City on the Edge of Forever.
But you know what? With all this wonderful Star Trek and all the lovely company we're going to have, who's going to want to leave?
Well, yeah.
Well, is there steak? Are there chicken nachos?
Is there Star Trek themed steak and chicken nachos?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Maybe it's the Restaurant Enterprise. Maybe we should bring that. Okay, so we're back to Kay. Kay, your second pick.
We're going back to Kay.
Now I think I will pick something terrible.
Ooh.
Yes.
Cosmic Whiz Kid Buck Rogers terrible or like
no, that's a different level.
Oh, okay.
That's a different level. This is an episode of Star Trek that a writer actually took his name off of.
Ooh.
Because he just thought it was awful, and he's right. And I find it hilarious. Hide and Q. And Maurice Hurley was all, I don't really want to be associated with this. So yeah, it is incredibly goofy, and I freaking love it.
Strange animal things.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a great pick because, we're not picking just the best episodes. We're picking the most entertaining episodes. And the great thing about Star Trek, at least in the old days, was even the worst episodes could be amazingly entertaining. Stuff like the Royale, stuff like Hide and Q, even though they're terrible, they're fun. I mean, we said it before on this podcast, Spock's brain is immensely watchable. Yeah. So I love that pick. I love it.
That's the one where Q has a thing for Riker.
He has a thing for Riker. Yeah. He does.
It's amazing.
And Wes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Dean in Community has for Joel McHale. He's just like really into Riker, and he
really does fix it on Riker in a couple of strange ways.
But it's funny, he's over him pretty quickly though. Like after that episode, he never hits on him again. Then it's all about Picard. And Sisko's just going to kick his ass.
Here's the great thing about Q.
Picard never hit me.
When somebody says no, he respects that.
Yeah, that's right. No means no with Q.
No means no. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought you were hot, but
I'll show up with a salsa band, a mariachi band.
I'm going after the
see what happens then.
I'm going after the ball guy.
Red alert!
Oh my God! No, that's a great pick, and that's a great example of when they were still following the TOS model, and they were shooting on Planet Hell,
right?
And it just was not well advised. And those creatures
on Planet Hell, but they never figured out how to light it.
Because they didn't have Jerry Fetterman.
Yeah,
and the DP on the first two seasons of Next Generation was terrible.
Oh my God!
This is before Marvin Rush came in.
Yeah. Any one of us could have lit that show.
We got
first 2 seasons.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah. So anyway, okay. So that's a great pick.
Hide and Q.
Hide and Q. So Rob, what's your next pick?
Kay's pick was so insightful and empowering to me that I've changed my second pick.
Ooh.
And I'm going to take her lead, and it's an episode that until I saw it in high definition when I was working on those documentaries, it's the 7th season Next Generation episode.
Don't you do it.
It's one of the most beautiful Star Trek episodes, especially Next Generation episodes, ever shot. It is absolutely gorgeous in a 2K in high definition, and it features just an awe-inspiring performance by a redhead. And I'm telling you, and not only that, it could very well be a reminder of everything that Star Trek shouldn't be. But because I'm stuck with you people, it reminds me of a place I would like to be.
Risa?
Sub Rosa.
Oh, okay.
You bogarted my best pick.
Stuck on that island.
We're going to need a bigger
on that
boat.
planet. I want to imagine that I'm Duncan Rieger, that I am the ghost that makes love to Beverly Crusher whenever I want.
Couldn't you just be the candle? Remember the candle.
No.
The candle.
No, man. And I'm telling you, I could never watch that episode. I hated that episode. Hated it until we got the 2K, the high definition version of it. It looks so different and so much better, the colors and everything. And it wasn't Marvin Rush who shot it. It was, help me out, Mark, who came on.
Yeah, you just said it. We got to put this on social media. It's a ghost. It's a ghost yelling Beverly.
I'm telling you, if Kay can pick Hide and Q, I can pick Sub Rosa, and because it's my fantasy of living with Beverly Crusher.
I have to say that at one point it was, I think this was years ago, it was rerunning, and Brandon Braga went on Twitter and said, "I'm so sorry, please forgive."
No, he shouldn't forgive.
Yeah, I know.
Look, Rob, I was worried that you were going to say masks. So I'm fine with Sub Rosa.
Masks is, oh God.
No, I wouldn't say masks. I mean, for me, with my love of redheads, and that's perhaps the most erotic episode of a non-erotic TV show.
You also get their amazing Deanna and Beverly's amazing workout.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Weird yoga.
Yeah, okay.
I just can't
Sometimes
even.
It gets cold at night.
Jonathan West. Jonathan West.
Oh yeah, he was good. He was the DP on Deep Space Nine.
Yep. And he took over. He worked for, was it Gain Resher who shot Star Trek 2?
Mm-hmm.
And he learned under him, and that episode is gorgeous and stupid. But
yeah, they've recreated Scotland here on this alien planet, which is what we're going to do on our planetoid. We're going to recreate Scotland.
And I can't bring Basic Instinct with me to this island, so I'm bringing Sub Rosa instead.
There's no Star Trek connection. If there was a Star Trek connection in Basic Instinct, you could. But Wayne Knight, Michael Douglas,
Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh, no, that's true. That's a stretch. Yeah. Okay. So, Ashley, what about you? What's your next pick?
Well, you know what I enjoy even more than reading on the beach, or just being on the beach and reading. I like to drink. So I'm going to bring a bottle of Silver Screen Bottling Company's James T. Kirk straight bourbon whiskey.
Oh.
Somebody better bring some fucking glasses.
You are now my favorite person on the island.
No, don't say that.
I got books. I got booze.
Hey, don't say that. As much as I love William Shatner and whiskey, it's terrible. It's terrible.
You'll learn to love it.
No.
But what if it's all we have?
It's all we have.
Well, I was going to bring the 10 forward vodka, but how could I make more?
We'll make something else. We'll
use it as the basis of whatever we make.
It'll be the basis of a new civilization.
What if we need fuel?
Well, all that you're missing at this point is the Horgon. So, okay.
I'm not going to touch that one.
Yeah. Ashley's going to be sitting there waiting for Jamarone with his little, his whiskey, his Captain Kirk whiskey. Okay. So that brings us to Mr. Doctorman.
Well,
number 2.
I think that when we're on this desert planetoid, we're going to need communication. So what I'm going to bring is my set of Mego communicators from 1974.
That was on my list too.
The giant.
But we can only communicate with each other.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe somebody will pick up the signal.
What's wrong with that?
Some trucker out in space. Okay.
Yeah,
hey,
Breaker 19, radio check. Come in. Yeah. Kevin, this is Scott. Come in. Yeah, look, these things were the greatest toy ever. Okay, well, maybe not the greatest toy ever. They never really worked right. But one Christmas I got them, and they were magical. And they're huge. They're dark blue and light blue. They don't look anything like the ones on TV, but they're all we had.
Yeah.
And they ate up 9-volt batteries like you wouldn't freaking believe.
That is true.
And the siren that blasted when you hit the red and green button was really annoying. So, but I'm going to have them, and you're going to hear when I play with them on the island that it's going to be annoying. So you're going to want me to stop.
Well, right. Darren, that's a fine choice. And to complement that, I will go with my choice, which is from 1976, the Star Trek Command Communications console. So this was the console that communicates with the walkie-talkies.
Sure,
and if Darren gets too annoying, I can hit the red button.
Sure, you can try.
And hit red alert.
Unless I hit the override.
Override. Where's the override? Yeah, well, that communications console is great. And you know how I know it's great? Because it says Star Trek on it.
That's right.
That's how I know it's authentic Star Trek merchandise.
That's
and it says Star Trek on it, you know it's real Star Trek.
With a name like Star Trek, it's got to be good.
Yeah. So I had that as a kid, and I will have it again on this island.
That's good.
And it's good because maybe we will be able to hail a ship going by to rescue us.
Maybe.
Or resupply us with Battlestar Galactica episodes.
Yes. We'll stay there. We just need to be resupplied.
That's right. We'll send down some Galactica and Space 1999. We'll see you in a couple of years. Okay. So round three. And again, we're back to Kay with round three.
So I'm going to pick up on this toy thing that we have, this toy run. And I'm going to choose the Star Trek collectible card game.
Ooh, that'll help pass the time.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I'm bringing all of it.
Nice.
And it's all 1E. We're not doing 2E bullshit. It's all 1E. I'm bringing all of it. I'm bringing all the expansions. We're going to have a great time.
Hey, that sounds good. I've never played it, so this will be my first time.
First and last time playing it.
It's really
That's the beauty of it.
You're going to get sucked in.
Okay.
It's really fun.
Excellent. I'll see you there. Okay, so Robert Meyer Burnett, what's your pick for the third slot in your Desert Island Treks?
Well, because entertainment's important, and we have Daren Dochterman who does many voices, and I want to suck up to the boss, I am going to bring the 50-year mission. The first 25 years. The entire oral history of Star Trek by Mark A. Altman and Edward Gross, which has, of course, the entire oral history, the first 25 years of Star Trek. So Daren can read to us around the campfires and do the voices.
I don't know
marshmallows. We'll have marshmallows.
And I have to say that is I was reading that book just the other day, and usually I keep it in the bathroom because you can pick it up at any point in the book, and read. And I feel that we're going to need entertainment, and because it's people talking, that's all it is dialogue.
Yeah,
sure. Daren can read it, and Mark will always look fondly upon me for bringing his own work to the island.
Yeah, no, that's great.
By the way, I would say that's a very entertaining book, not just to suck up to the boss. It's really good. We don't need the second half because we're going to remember classic Star Trek. I mean, the second half's good too.
Look, I love that second book. It has all that great stuff about the beginning of Next Generation, which is fantastic.
It's great, but you know what? It's not the original, and I need Daren to do the voices of all the Star Trek characters.
Okay.
Well, what I'm going to enjoy the most is reading the foreword by Mark A. Altman.
I think you'll all enjoy that most.
Sounds great. That's great. And then you could do the Seth MacFarlane's introduction.
Sure.
And as we watch Orville episodes.
No, I'm not doing that one.
Nope.
I still, well, we've talked about this on the show. Okay, were you there that time where this years and years ago where our friend brought when Dan brought Seth MacFarlane to Lola's and we were all total assholes?
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I hope I was.
It's such a shame. I really like the Orville. But man, I don't know what it was. I guess because I know what it was, because another friend of ours had it out for him and convinced us that he was a horrible person.
Oh my
God. So we were all jerks.
Oh no.
Yeah. You remember
wasn't
that.
a jerk. I just didn't know who the hell he was.
Yeah. Robert, you remember that. Remember that?
I do. And look, you know what? I already was telling Daren Dochterman today how guilty I already feel about being mean to another luminary in the entertainment business. So now I have to know I was mean to two people.
I think you've been mean to more than that, Rob.
Oh my God. You want to hear something really funny?
Person.
I was asked today on a live chat if I knew who Kevin Williamson was.
Oh my God.
Not kidding. I guess I'm 3 for 3 today.
No, the thing that Rob is alluding to is when we won the Saturn Award for Free Enterprise, we went up to accept the award, and Rob was really excited. He'd been involved with the Academy for many, many years, and he it's kind of like was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
I did give an impassioned speech about originality in film,
right. And then he says, "We're not making crap like Kevin Williamson.
I didn't say Kevin. I just said I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last summer and Scream 2 or whatever.
And it was like, not realizing that there was Kevin
sitting there
handing me my Saturn award.
Oh no!
Yeah, he was. Kevin Williamson was the one who gave us the award. Oh my God! I sent him the biggest gift basket. I mean, it was like, and he was like, "Why did I come here to be insulted when I'm giving this award?"
After it was over, I didn't realize what I'd done. You know,
everyone else was mortified.
Of course you didn't.
This wonderful moment, and you're like,
and Mick Garris, one of the nicest men in show business. Mick Garris comes over to me, and I knew Mick Garris. He says, "Listen, Robert, I think it'd be very nice if you apologized to Mr. Williamson." And I'm like, "Apologize to Mr. Williamson for what?" And then I thought about it. I'm like, "Oh my God."
That was a classic Rob
Steps in
moment.
It, episode 375.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So enough about Kevin Williamson. If we're talking about people Rob insulted accidentally, we'll be here all night. So the 50-year mission, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'll borrow it from you on occasion. Okay. That then brings us to Ashley Miller. Ashley, what's your third pick of the night?
Look, Star Trek is nothing without cosplay and fans. And so I'm going to bring the greatest cosplaying fan of all time, a former guest on this very show, the lovely and talented Hazel Honeysuckle.
You're going to bring Hazel Honeysuckle.
You're goddamn right.
I guess so. Apparently so. What costume is she wearing?
She can bring all of them. It's up to her. She has choice. Just bring her trunk.
No, Ashley, if you can do that, I'm bringing Robin Curtis. So,
oh my God,
you can your pick next.
You don't get to bring people.
This isn't Star Trek Fantasy Hour. This is
if we're bringing people, I got a list.
Yeah, and if we're bringing people, I'm leaving Sub Rosa at home, and I'm bringing Gates herself.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't think she has to watch. She has to want to go with you, Rob.
Hey,
I don't know if that was made clear in the rules.
It's people.
Look, it's Soylent Green.
Why would you want to strand all these people on the planet with us? That is, we don't even know if we're going to get rescued.
Hey, man, if it worked for Chris Pratt and passengers, I can strand anybody with me. Come on.
Oh my God.
This has gone
just
wrong.
Not how I expected this episode to go.
Yeah,
hey, I didn't. It was him and Miss Honeysuckle.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't bring Hazel Honeysuckle.
You can't bring
without
people.
her saying yes, without her wanting to go.
Right.
She has to accept the invitation.
Wait a minute, we all have to agree on that, and she's gonna tax our supplies. I mean, we only have so much food.
That's true.
Yeah.
Robin Hazel's gonna be there. We're gonna give her your supplies.
Oh, really? I've got one thing to say to you. Dun 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 dun. dun.
We're gonna give her your copy of Prime Directive.
Bring the on I'll take
the
Just because you worked in the defense industry for a while doesn't mean I can't kick your ass.
Oh my God!
Come on now.
What is going on with this episode? Okay, so
you started it.
We're on an island. Things go bad on islands.
Try again.
It's Survivor, baby.
Fine.
Yeah, it's the most dangerous season ever.
It's Squid Game.
It's Squid Game.
It's
Star Trek
Squid Game.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not far from existence. We'll do that at Comic-Con next year. It'll be an activation off site. Okay, so I actually apparently people aren't thrilled with your pick.
They're just jealous they didn't think of it.
Why don't you try again?
So I'm going to need to drink my whiskey out of something. So I'm going to bring my USS Enterprise glassware set.
I like that.
Okay.
I've got a decanter. I've got like the glasses. I got everything, man. I'm going for the long haul. I figure you guys are going to be bringing like the videos, all that.
I mean, I was hoping there'd be some actual Star Trek on this island, but
there is.
We'll get there.
There's a theme happening.
We'll get there, Pop. We'll get there.
Can I bring the Godfather?
Because 7 rounds to go.
Well,
In
I'll tell you
retrospect,
what's
we
really
should have let Rob bring the entire set of Blu-rays. Honestly,
Because in Godfather 2,
who can
Mariana Hill was in Dagger of the Mind, and she's in Godfather 2. She's Fredo's wife. Maybe we can bring Mariana Hill. I mean,
Mark,
Godfather 2.
What's really interesting is even though we're stranded on this asteroid, Al Ruddy will make sure we have the Godfather.
That's right. He'll take care of it. Al Ruddy's on it.
Al Ruddy will make sure it happens.
I said Godfather, not Megaforce. Come on.
Rob, show him the shirt. Show him the shirt.
You know what? It didn't come.
Oh, damn it.
What didn't? You got a Megaforce shirt?
No, I got produced by an Albert S. Ruddy shirt.
No, you didn't.
Darren made it.
It's on obscurities right now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm making a note to order that.
Yeah, no, I got my package. I ordered 6. These are only 5 the shirts. Actually, I'm getting 7.
I'm getting one for me and one for my son.
These are all Darren Docterman produced T-shirts, and I got them all, by the way, in less than a week.
Fantastic. Okay, so look, we got a little off track there, but
now we have the glasses.
We got the glasses. They're not the Burger King glasses. So, Darren, what's your pick in this third round?
Well, it just so happens that I have an unopened game here. The Star Trek Seen It DVD game.
Wow.
Nice.
But since we have a DVD player, we should have at least an hour of fun with this.
That's right.
Well, we have seen it.
That's true. And we can all sort of flail wondering what the hell is going on with the Enterprise.
That's actually a great pick. I got to give him credit. That's a great pick.
The great thing is it's a classic and it's never been opened. So it's worth at least $60 on eBay.
On Planetoid eBay.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Great. That's a great pick. And that'll pass minutes, if not hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Hours will seem like days.
Yeah. By the book. Yeah. I'm not going to, I could say Star Trek Monopoly, but I'm not going to do that because that would just be stealing your idea. Not as good. So, I feel like we don't have enough episodes, but,
You're right.
But I really want to pick something and it's not an episode. So I'm going to do it.
All right.
I'm going to pick the Marvel Super Special Star Trek The Motion Picture adaptation. It's one of my favorite. I love that Super Special. I love the art. I really enjoy the movie. It was a toss up between that and the photo novel because Star Trek The Motion Picture really was one of the last great photo novels because by the time you get to Con, it's black and white. It's crap. So I'm going to pick the Star Trek The Motion Picture Marvel Super Special #1, which adapts the great Star Trek The Motion Picture. So now we have the movie director's edition, courtesy of Darren, and we have the theatrical comic adaptation, courtesy of Marvel. Make mine Marvel.
Oh, fine. Yours is Marvel then.
Okay, so that brings us to round 4. Round 4.
Okay, so I think I'm going to pick something good this time.
Ooh.
This is one of my favorite episodes of all of Star Trek and one of my favorite TV episodes, Darmok from Next Generation.
Captain, would you be prepared to consider the creation of a mutual non-aggression pact between our two peoples, possibly leading to a trade agreement and cultural interchange? Does this sound like a reasonable course of action to you?
Kadir beneath, Momenta.
In winter.
Impressions number 1. It appears they're trying their best, as are we, for what it's worth.
Shaka, when the walls fell. Darmok. Bry and Jiri at Lunga. Shaka, when the walls fell. Sina at Anzo. Sina and Baka. Darmok at Tanagra. Shaka. Mirab, his sails unfurled. Darmok. Mirab. Tamok. The river, Tamok. Darmok and Gelad at Tanagra.
All right.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Could you explain it better? That's a little inside joke.
Darren,
extremely little.
When the walls fell.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that episode. It's especially the tour de force between Patrick Stewart and Paul Winfield. It's a wonderful example of how science fiction can tell stories about people.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it, and that's what I'm bringing for my fourth choice.
I
also love that episode.
Remember, Gilgamesh, a king. Okay. Tell me anything.
But I love that story. Like there is, I think like that moment when Picard is telling the story of Gilgamesh and Kidu is it's awesome. Incredibly powerful, and it's just a moment of connection between those two, and it's just the way that story can connect us, and it becomes meta in a non-wanky way that I
and also at the end when Picard is talking to them, the way he's such a great actor, obviously, but the way that he understands the words he's saying to them, it's a really not a lot of actors I think would have really been able to do that the way he's able to do it.
I just find it amazing that the other language includes English conjunctions and modifiers. I think it's great.
Dude, we're hanging through the universal translator, man. Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? If Rob can like Sub Rosa after all these years, one day, maybe if I watch it enough times, I'll finally like Darmok. So hopefully it's a big opportunity for me to discover why maybe that like Inner Light, I'll like finally get on the train with that.
No,
I love Darmok in spite of watching it for the first time wildly hungover.
On your Captain Kirk whiskey, huh?
Damn right.
Okay.
Well,
that's actually a good pick. That's a great pick. Next Generation, the Darmok episode with the great Paul Winfield, and the walls will fall, and hopefully we will get a signal out to get rescued. Okay, Rob Burnett, what's your next pick? Round 4.
Well, once again, I'm going to follow Kay's lead and pick an episode. I'm going to pick. It is a disc. It's on disc. It's a single disc. I did work on documentaries that are on this disc, but since it came out as an individual disc.
Yep. No, that qualifies.
It's my favorite Star Trek Next Generation 2-parter. And
Time's Arrow.
No, that never came out as a disc. It has 2 actors. One of them I interviewed who told me that the other actor that was in the episode with him delivered one of the best performances, the performance ever of Hamlet.
Yes, and this would be the late David Warner and Chain of Command.
And it's Chain of Command 1 and 2 cut together as one individual movie.
Yep.
The Cardassians are developing a metagenic weapon.
Oh my God.
Our orders are to destroy it at any cost. It's a trap. Come on!
One of the most powerful 2-part episodes has now been edited seamlessly into a feature-length presentation.
It would be a shame if something were to happen to such a noted officer.
I can't believe you're willing to sacrifice Captain Picard's life as a negotiation tactic.
If I am not satisfied with your answers, you will die. How many lights do you see there?
I see 4 lights.
No, there are 5.
You cannot hurt me!
This gripping release comes loaded with new special features, including an exclusive making-of documentary.
We worked with the people at Amnesty International talking about issues surrounding torture.
Plus rare deleted scenes unearthed from the CBS archives.
Picard never saw them.
If that is so, he may be tortured for information he does not have.
Star Trek: The Next Generation, Chain of Command, coming soon to Blu-ray.
There are 4 lights!
And in it, the reason first of all, it is my favorite Star Trek: The Next Generation two-parter because it deals with there's so many things going on. On one hand, you have brinksmanship with Ronnie Cox as Captain Jellicoe, who I love, and I got to interview, and he was absolutely delightful, fantastic. And so you've got great Starfleet intrigue happening with the Cardassians, and at the same time, you have what Star Trek. I don't think anyone does better shows with two characters sitting in a room, whether it's Duet from the first season of Deep Space Nine or
the drumhead.
It's the drumhead. I mean, Gene Simmons and Picard.
Gene Simmons? Wednesday Simmons?
Look, or measure.
You sound like me now.
Measure of a Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you mean now? Did I slur Gene Simmons' name?
Either you're drinking or you're doing your best impression of
no.
Wanda.
I am having wine, but I don't think my voice is slurring. And I will say this: I mean, the scenes literally, it's two men in a room sitting across from each other, maybe 8 feet apart, if that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it is some of the most riveting television ever. The way that David Warner as Gul Madred tries to break Patrick Stewart's spirit, and then chillingly at the end you find out he actually did.
Yeah,
and
the look on his face when he says there were 4 lights, he's just so like, oh my God, I almost said it.
He almost said it, and it's an incredible not just Star Trek but television.
Yeah,
and really a great 2-part episode that encompasses everything about Star Trek that I love.
Yeah, it's a great episode. It's a great episode, and that you know, those episodes that were cut into 2-parters, some were more effective than others in the theatrical 2-hour form. Chain of Command really works.
And I really do think. And what's interesting about Chain of Command is they brought in a new producer on the 6th season, and he wrote. Well, he was one
Franco
of the writers.
Beta Marco.
Yeah, and he was somebody that I wanted to find him, and when we were doing the documentaries, I found out he sold real estate in Santa Barbara.
No way, really?
Yes, and I tracked him down.
Can you imagine him showing a house?
I tracked him down.
There are 4 lights.
I mean, Roger and I drove up to his high-end real estate office in Santa Barbara. We schlepped in our equipment to interview him, and all the nice ladies. I mean, this was high-end real estate, and he's looking around like, and these women are like, "Why are you here to interview Mr. Rabbit Marco?" And we're like, "Well, he was a producer on Star Trek and wrote these episodes." And they're like, "Wait, what?" It was so.
He was the smart one. He got out and got into real estate.
Yeah. He got out and got into real estate, but he was a delightful man. Great interview. Really had a fun time, and it means a lot to me that single.
That's a great story. That's great, and it's a great pick.
I think the episode had the wrong effect on me because it just made me want to see the show with Ronnie Cox on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the fact that Jellicoe's right. He was right, and Riker was wrong.
Yep.
Picard season 4 should be Jellicoe.
That is the B story, and it's just as strong as the A story. It's kind of amazing.
And it makes you wish there were a Jellicoe, Shelby, and Rowe show.
Yeah.
Or a law firm.
Rowe, oh my.
Or a law firm.
Let's kind of keep the Next Generation groove going. I mean, I think we can all agree.
No Hazel Honeysuckle.
No Hazel.
I'm keeping it going.
No Hazel Honeysuckle. No Lieutenant Yarn.
And no
we all
vaccine.
agree that the first and second seasons of Next Generation were not great, in spite of like a few episodes that we agree were great. And the thing that was most surprising, I think, about season 3 was that there was an immediate sense that things had changed. It certainly was shot better. The costumes looked better. Everything felt crisper, more professional, more like a modern TV show. The writing just felt better. And it took a couple episodes to convince me that, wow, maybe Star Trek had turned the corner. And the episode that convinced me that, okay, like this is like, it's not just, hey, every so often there's a really good episode of this show that basically doesn't work. was the third episode of the third season, The Survivors.
Next time on Star Trek, The Next Generation, the crew discovers the sole survivors of an alien massacre.
The attacking force spared you for some reason.
They're guarding a dark secret. A mystery that's destroying Troy's brain. A threat that's attacking the Enterprise.
Commence rapid fire with all weapons on full.
On Star Trek, The Next Generation.
That's our pick. Why would you pick? Rob and I are always selling that one. When did you
I love
become a survivor?
He listened to us.
I have always been of the body. I
the tiger, baby.
I love that episode. It has just the best ending, the best reveal. It is so well played. Patrick Stewart is just amazing in that moment as he tries to process what he's being told. I mean, it is it's a very long setup for the punchline. The punchline is just terrific. And I just remember watching that and thinking, holy crap, if this show can do this, right, without being a very special episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah,
Even John Anderson is in it.
It totally is.
Fantastic performance, by the way.
Amazing as Kevin Uxbridge.
Yeah.
Right? Even though his name is Kevin, he's really cool.
That's, by the way, a really, really powerful card in the card game.
That's right. It makes all the other cards.
I want to be a Hoosnock. No, I don't want to be a Hoosnock. I want to be a Dowd. A Dowd. I want to be a Dowd. Yeah, that's a good one.
And you know,
from Who's Knocking the Knockers?
Oh dear.
You know what though?
That's a different game.
You know, Jonathan Frakes and John Anderson work together in North and South.
Oh, that's right.
Fun fact.
And Jonathan Frakes told me that John Anderson told him that breakfast was always the most important meal of the day because you put the fire into the what do you call it, the oven, whatever.
Oven?
It stokes up
the fire.
You always got to have a great breakfast.
In the engine room.
Yeah.
I know this ship like the back of my hand.
That's a story Riker told me when I interviewed him.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We love the survivors, and we are survivors because we're on this planetoid surviving.
Survivors.
So, yeah, that's good. I got to tell you, we got a lot of next gen here, a little bit of TOS, but not much else. Be interested to see how this develops over the next couple of picks. But Darren still has a pick coming, so
I have
we'll
a
see.
pick coming, and so do you.
So do I.
That's the beauty of it.
My pick for this fourth round is an offering from a dear friend and sometimes adversary, David Gerald. Of course, I'm speaking of The Trouble with Tribbles from the original season, second season, and it is wonderful. From beginning to end, it is quotable as hell. It is nonstop verbal action, and it is perhaps one of the greatest foils that Kirk ever had. Not counting Khan, of course, but Niels Barris, played by William Schaller, is absolutely amazing. And after they go through these. That
would have been a different movie if Niels Barris swore revenge against Kirk.
I think
done the wrath of Niels Barris.
That would be a great alternate Star Trek 2, The Revenge of Niels Barris.
I'd love to see that.
With the entire
he cast me, and I shall have him.
It also has one of Shatner's great retorts.
Well, yes. it has all of them.
I take this very seriously. It is you I do not.
Very seriously.
It's you I take lightly.
Yeah.
I have never questioned the intelligence of any representative of the Federation until now. It's so good, and the great Whit Bissell as apparently the do nothing head of
administrator of K7.
The administrator of K7. He's completely useless.
Yeah,
and William Campbell appearing out of nowhere again as the Klingon Captain Koloth. It's just great. I love it. It's one of the episodes that I still have recorded on cassette. and I listened to it over and over again, and I know every inch of that episode. And I really bugged David Gerald with it when we were arguing over dialogue on one of my episodes that I directed. And he was saying, well, that doesn't sound like Kirk's voice. Oh, really? And then I would speak back his own lines to him, and I convinced him the other way. It was very, very fun. Yes,
Darren,
Mr. Burnett.
What's really interesting about that is I noticed you brought that to our planetoid.
Yes.
And maybe you didn't realize that you brought this with you, but for whatever reason,
There's a tribble.
No troubles and tribulations from.
No, I didn't bring it.
No, it was there. It was there. I saw it in your pack. It just was there. So we got
you
that.
Were checking out his package and you saw a tribble?
Because canonically, if you're going to go back and you're going to, go from a series that was made in the 90s and you're going to look back 30
Rob,
years.
If you want Trials and Tribulations, you can pick it.
You can bring it.
You can
I
pick
didn't
it.
pick it. I just noticed it showed up.
He didn't pick it. He picked Trials, Trouble, Tribbles.
All
Making
part of
shit up.
You can pick it if you want. That'll be the next round. You
I
can
didn't
pick
have to pick it. It came with Darren probably had it together with the thing.
didn't.
I don't know.
No, I can tell you for certain I did not.
I don't know. I found it. I didn't bring it.
Hang that on me.
You're imagining things. You're drinking too much of Ashley's whiskey. Okay.
Right. I'm not drinking whiskey. I'm drinking a fine Pinot Noir.
I know you're not, but Ashley brought Captain Kirk whiskey with her.
Whiskey.
Damn right.
Although I don't know why it's Captain Kirk whiskey. It should be like Saurian brandy or something.
Well, that doesn't exist.
I know, but it could be brandy.
Could be brandy.
I just want to say, if you want to give something a visual
reboot,
reboot, Deep Space Nine did it right.
What? What did you just say?
I said, if you want to give something a visual reboot,
Deep Space
Nine went from 1996.
I don't want to give anything a visual reboot, Rob. That's why we have our original episodes.
I'm just saying they kept the aesthetic.
So bring it. Bring it along.
Okay. So that brings us to my pick.
Fight?
Yeah.
That brings us to my pick. And like I said, I feel like I love Deep Space Nine, so I'm surprised Deep Space Nine hasn't shown up despite Rob's best efforts to sneak it in. There's no Voyager, there's none of the rest of the shows. So I want to rectify the omissions by picking my pick, which is the soundtrack to Star Trek: The Motion Picture by Jerry Goldsmith. I think that when we're stranded and we want hope. And we want, maybe we're reading or we just, we watch too much TV. We want to put on that soundtrack, one of the most magnificent soundtracks ever written for a film, and just enjoy it. And I'm talking, of course, about the La La Land 3-disc set.
Indeed.
I could pick that 2-disc set that had Inside Star Trek on it.
But it wouldn't have the Sean Cassidy song.
But that has the Sean Cassidy. The 3-disc set has the Sean Cassidy.
That's what I mean. You have the 3.
I want to start Beyond Time because sometimes you just feel like a little Sean Cassidy.
Well, that's the only thing that you can want is because there was only a little Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, exactly. So my pick is the Star Trek: The Motion Picture soundtrack from La La Land Records, which will be packed in the luggage and brought to this planetoid where we are all stranded. So I hope you like Jerry Goldsmith.
We know we're going to be stranded.
It's just. I guess it feels like it's not a 3-hour tour, but indeed it turns out to be.
Mark, you don't need the Inside Star Trek album because I'm here.
Yeah, it's true. You just have it committed to memory. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Okay, so that brings us now to round five, and I'm hoping we're going to see some more episodes in our of Star Trek in our show here. But Go ahead, Kay.
Something that I just find so much fun. I think all of the actors are having a great time, and it really does a great job at nailing what it's poking fun at. And that is the Voyager episode, Bride of Chaotica.
Oh, good choice.
This is no ordinary mission.
What was that?
No ordinary ship.
Captain Proton, surrender!
Not a chance.
And no ordinary crew.
Ha! You're no match for Arachnia.
It's a fantasy gone wild.
Power the death ray!
But the danger...
incoming.
...is all too real.
We're going down!
On the next Star Trek Voyager.
If I was going to pick a Voyager, that would be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a super fun episode. Harry Kim's still completely useless, but I still have a hard time because I was between that and something terrible from Voyager, but that might be coming. I don't know why.
You got a lot of choices.
I got a lot of choices. I don't understand why Tom Paris. I get this, like, okay, I'm going to be Captain Proton. This is fun. But then for reasons I cannot fathom, he creates an Irish village on the holodeck. Sure. And there are 2 episodes in it. And I don't understand him at all. It's this twee Irish village called Fairhaven. The episodes are awful. But everyone on the crew is so excited to go to Fairhaven. Go do the Chaotica thing. What are you people doing?
Isn't Fairhaven where Popeye lived? No, that was Sweet Haven.
That would have been a much cooler episode of Voyager.
Maybe he was trying to create that planet in Scotland and get the candle lit.
They are. It literally, and this is me saying this, so I can say it. It honestly would be something a girl would come up with. I don't know why Tom Paris came up with a twee Irish village, but anyway, Bride of Chaotica, super, super fun. Kate Mulgrew has a tremendous time in it.
So, does Kate Mulgrew play Chaotica?
Yeah.
She plays
the Bride of Chaotica,
but as Janeway playing the character.
Yeah, and Chaotica is like Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
Then why does he have a female gendered name?
What?
Because Tom Paris.
Hey, leave me out of this, man.
He's Dr. Chaotica.
Yeah. Doesn't
Why do you have to poke at everything? Poke. Is that
because
it's
poker?
Because it's pokeable.
It's not. It's a totally frivolous episode. That's a delightful, fun.
How dare you? It's not frivolous at all. It's very important. That's why Kate picked it.
No, I'm saying in a good way. I'm not criticizing it. It's fun, good, frivolous. It's funny, fun, frivolous. It's frivolity. It's like I thought she was picking.
It's like a clown that abuses you.
It is light and fluffy and delicious.
How is it
and
funny?
that's what we need
How
on
is
this.
It freaking funny.
That's what we need on the planetoid. We need fun and frivolity. Otherwise, we're going to go crazy watching all this serious
I think we're
stuff.
already there.
Okay, so Robert, what's your pick for number 5?
Once again, I'm going to follow Kay, and I'm going to pick a Voyager episode.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to pick. Not only is it one of maybe it's my favorite episode of Voyager. I also think it's a great episode of science fiction. Christopher Nolan did not do it as well as this episode did. And in terms of a science fiction, in terms of a science fiction episode, in terms of an episode based in science itself, blink of an eye.
Imagine watching a world evolve before your very eyes.
For each second that passes on Voyager, nearly a day goes by on the planet.
A world whose weapons
The inhabitants appear to have developed antimatter torpedo technology.
will soon surpass your own.
Like the 40's failing.
An all-new Star Trek Voyager.
I love Blink of an Eye. And Blink of an Eye, the Voyager is captured. It's stuck in orbit about a planet where time moves differently than it does on the Voyager. So they're able to watch a planet hundreds of years pass. And of course, then the Voyager itself becomes interwoven in this developing culture's mythology, because there it sits. A starship has been in the sky for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So it deals with a lot of really interesting themes in 1 hour, 45 minutes of TV.
Right.
And
I like that. That's a good choice.
I really love this episode. To me, it does everything that Star Trek wants to do. And it could have gone in many different directions, but you actually see the life on the planet. You see life on the ship. And then there is a meeting of the minds at the end that I find very uplifting. And there's something about the episode that only modern Star Trek could do. And I think, with people like Brandon Bragg at the helm, he always was looking for strange things based on scientific principles to base stories around. This was probably one of the most successful, along with something like Living Witness. And I really love this episode of Voyager. I love this episode as an episode of science fiction television. It's just delightful. And you know what? It's uplifting. It's very uplifting.
I like it. Of the Voyager episodes, I think it's a pretty good episode. I wouldn't take it with me if I 10 picks of Star Trek episodes, but I
we're not talking episodes, dude. You said Star Trek in general.
Yeah, well, I'm saying you take from anything.
My bag. I didn't know.
I know, but is this what you want? I mean, this is the 10 you want. You want to have Blink?
You're grabbing. You're in Rob's office, and you got 10 minutes.
No, nobody. No. You can
actually find your way out.
Dude, you know what? I happen to be working on a screenplay for something else. I picked this up. I didn't know we were going to crash.
No. It was very deliberate. You said, I'm going to be away for a while. I'm going to bring the stuff I really want to have, my Star Trek stuff I really want with me. It's not like, I happen to have this episode of Requiem for Methuselah. Might as well bring that.
Great episode. It's even got a model of the Enterprise on a tabletop. Come on, what's up? It's awesome.
I happen to have this like that episode. And the children shall lead. I'll just throw it in the luggage.
No,
that's the worst episode. That's one of the worst hours of TV I've ever seen.
Right. I'm saying. I mean, maybe you're a president of the Mel and Belli fan club.
The only thing about that episode that's great is the UFP flag. That's it.
That's right.
That's the only thing.
Which is an excuse to bring the technical manual. Then maybe bring that.
I can't believe I'm getting dissed for a favorite episode of Voyager. God,
I'm just surprised. I'm not saying it's not a good episode. I'm just saying, but as something to have on a desert island, I just am surprised.
It reminds me of the legacy of Star Trek and what it led to for other people.
There you go. Later. You know what? Subjective. It's your choice. We all respect it. Fine choice, Rob. Ashley, your pick for number 5.
Number 5. Right then. So I think that Rob has the right idea. Picking a story where time moving differently is very important. Except that the episode that I would like to select comes from a good show.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I am going to along the 3rd episode of season 4 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, entitled The Visitor.
A freak accident freezes Cisco in time.
No! Don't leave me!
Now his son begins a lifelong obsession.
You're older than I am.
To save his father.
We're trying to rescue you. Let go, Jake.
But to bring him back to reality...
They're being pulled into subspace.
...could take Jake his entire life.
Jake, what's happened to you?
On the next Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
One of the best episodes of television ever.
But incredibly depressing. And I love it. It's one of my favorite Star Trek episodes ever. But again, I don't know if I would bring that with me because it's depressing.
It is heartbreaking. I love to feel things, real, like human emotions and shit. I love getting that out of my entertainment. Avery is terrific in it. But Tony Todd, Tony Todd, who is one of my stars on my little show that's dropping on August 11th on Netflix, DOTA Dragon's Blood. Come see it. Mark, I'm learning everything from you.
I'm so impressed.
Keep going. Tony is he is fantastic in this episode of it's an episode about grief and loss and trying to make sense of the universe when the most important thing to you is suddenly gone. And you are constantly tantalized by the prospect of bringing it back to the point where you would sacrifice everything. And the fact that it manages to show that side of the story while letting us be inside of Captain Sisko's point of view and feel that love that a father has for his son and the sacrifice he'd be willing to make for him, and what he's willing to accept and what he's not is just so powerful. It's an amazing episode of television. It's an amazing episode of Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek in general. One of my favorites.
You won't get an argument here. Because, boy, that Tony Todd, who stars in Ashley's show, Dragon's Blood, DOTA, Dragon's Blood on Netflix, the new season debuting on August 11th, is fantastic in that episode. It's great. But I got to tell you, it's the same reason I'm not going to pick In the Pale Moonlight, my favorite episode of Deep Space Nine, just because I want stuff that's going to be uplifting and fun and while we're stranded. I want the Gilligan's Island of Trek episodes and not not sort of the dark, more depressing.
But if we're stranded, can we live with it?
I think we can live with it.
Can we live with it?
Boy, you know what? I think I've sort of set a weird little, I don't know what I'm saying about myself here, but so far I brought alcohol, I brought my enemy, my ally, I brought the visitor. Yeah. This is not a happy time.
I think you're going to get your own cave. No one's going to
exactly. Yeah. Ashley's just going to walk off one day and never come back.
That's right.
That's all there is to it.
We're rooting and reading, and he was watching the visitor and crying again, and then he just went for a walk and he never came back.
No,
all that was left was
there's no crying in Star Trek.
We're going to look at the planetoid. We see a body like flying. Hey, is that Ashley?
Oh wow!
Oh my god! The rescue ship will come and they'll say, "Where's Ashley?" We're like, "We don't know."
Okay, you're like the lost Cunningham brother, Chuck. There a little at the beginning, and then you're just gone.
Yeah, just gone, and nobody even talks about you anymore.
Like Michael McKean in the Thaw.
That's right. Don't you want to do just a little story, like a fan story about what actually happened to Chuck?
Oh,
and just something, and it's like now it's just all sort of spinning through my head. I'm going to pitch it tomorrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, everybody's copious spare time. Next season on DOTA, Dragon's Blood, season 4. What happened to Chuck
Cunningham?
Okay, Netflix is like, wait, what?
Darren, number 5. What's your pick?
You know what? I'm going to bring in some wonderfulness and some adventure and some good old-fashioned Star Trek by bringing the Doomsday Machine.
Oh, excellent choice.
What happened to your crew? Oh, we were dead.
Mr. Sulu, you will lay in an evasive course back to the Constellation.
Aye, sir. Belay that last order, helmsman. We're going to attack.
You will carry out my last order, Mr. Sulu.
I am assuming command of the Enterprise.
But I would advise against it.
Scotty, get us out of here. Prepare to beam me aboard on my signal. Gentlemen, I suggest you beam me aboard.
Yay. That's more like it.
We're talking about uplifting Star Trek?
Yeah, he destroys the Doomsday Machine. He gets away. You know, everything's fine.
It's also one of the great hours of television ever made. So,
absolutely. The luminous William Wyndham as Commodore Decker is amazing, and he does the Captain Queeg bit very well when he's on the bridge, and the confrontation between him and Spock is legendary. So I love this episode. I loved it so much I remade it, and I may bring my remade version to the island.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Wait, does that mean you get 2 things, and I don't get?
He's bringing his version instead of the original effects.
Oh, I see.
Which is his right. Which means we can still pick the Doomsday Machine from the original series.
Oh, that's mean. That's mean.
Well, I'm not going to pick that. But it's funny. I was going to pick Shore Leave because I wanted something fun and with frivolity. But then I suddenly seized on something. I realized, you know what I want? The La La Land original Star Trek soundtrack collection, because then I can relive the entire season in my mind.
Hey, if you can bring the whole soundtrack collection, I can bring the deep space.
He has a point there, Mark.
What? I can only bring individual discs?
Yeah,
because you told me the same thing early on in the show.
Yeah, it's different. It's a totally different thing. Fine. You know what? I'm going to go with Shore. Because that's a whole season of episodes. This is just music. It's a music collection. It's not sold individually. It's only sold as a giant box. The collection is different because they were sold as individual episodes, and then it was released as a collection.
I'll go.
I'm bringing Gilbert.
Oh, hey, Gilbert.
Cannot bring any.
Hi, Gilbert.
So can I bring the original Star Trek, original series collection from La La Land?
Only if I can bring the entire full series.
No, you may not.
I just told you why you can't.
You can't because they were sold separately.
and then put in a box.
I will allow the.
Well, so the kind of the Star Trek soundtracks over the years.
That's
no,
different.
they were never.
What say you, KAY REINDL?
That was not by La La Land.
Well, you guys are
I-
cheaters.
I think it counts because it's not an entire season of television.
Yeah, which defeats the whole purpose of picking individual episodes. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to pick.
Also because I really want to have it.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because you can relive all these wonderful episodes in your mind.
So what you're saying to me is 2 of your picks have been soundtrack albums.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I guess we.
That's right.
Have you
because
brought a
it's
CD
the music
player?
of the
Does
mind.
anyone have a CD player?
No, we have a Blu-ray player that plays.
All I know is that
Just
because
checking.
of Mark, now I can sit on the beach, drinking my whiskey, reading my book, and listening to music.
And collect 20%.
Okay, and collect 20%.
Okay, well, I'm taking the soundtrack collection with me.
I love it.
That'll
This
be
is
good. So
great.
don't scratch it.
I'm
Don't get
very
drunk and
excited
scratch the
about this.
discs because we don't have it digitally. We only have it on CD. Okay, so that takes us to round 6, and we're back to Kay. And this is it's getting tough. We're starting to run out of slots for our desert island picks. So Kay, what's it going to be? Number 6.
Okay, all right. So I'm going Next Generation again. And I'm picking this episode because it's kind of the closest they got to doing Philip K. Dick on Next Generation.
Frame of mind.
You got it.
I still got it, baby.
Without warning, Riker falls victim to an unknown hysteria.
Who are you?
And the crew fears he's suffering from a mental breakdown.
The mind can manufacture all kinds of things.
But are they all in the grips of a powerful delusion?
None of it's real. You're still with us on the Enterprise.
Or is Riker slipping into a terrifying madness?
Let me out of here!
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, I love this episode. Obviously, it's of its time, so they don't go as far into Riker's point of view as they would now. But I thought it was extremely well executed. The scene with Susanna Thompson is so freaking weird, and I think Frakes does a nice job in it.
He's great in it.
Yep, he's great.
And I love that it's an episode about Beverly trying to get people to do plays for her.
Oh my God.
It's like, that's what would happen on the Enterprise because half the time they're just traveling. And, we figure all these episodes where shit happens, most of the time nothing's happening. It's boring as shit on the Enterprise, right? So what do they do plays? They she'd be doing plays.
They put on concerts, they paint, whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it would really be kind of boring.
Yeah.
I think we just see the good stuff. But like they're probably weeks, months on end where nothing's happening in the galaxy. They're just checking on, people, seeing how they're doing, gaseous anomalies, make science.
Got the night shift today. I mean, it's got to be like Picard's just in his ready room half the time.
Looking at his fish, feeding his fish. He probably just stares at the fish tank a whole shift. He just lies on that sofa and looks at the fish, talks to them, tells him about how his mother hung herself. No, he never said that. Okay.
Because it didn't happen.
Because it didn't happen. This is not canon. Okay.
Cannot go down that road.
Yeah. We don't open that Pandora's box.
No.
Okay. So that's a good pick. Frame of mind. Good episode. We like it. Rob, what's your pick?
Okay. You knew this was coming, I think.
If you don't pick it, I will.
It's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek. That is the most unsung great episode of Star Trek ever. It has a fantastic science fiction concept. It has incredible character interplay and some of the best McCoy Spock material ever. That is also sort of, there's a mirror of it in the 3rd season, the Tholian Web.
Yeah.
After they think Kirk himself is gone.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I think when I was a child, this episode made me the most excited of any Star Trek episode. I don't know why. I mean, I think the idea of I didn't understand what Lovecraft was. I didn't understand Cthulhu or the old ones or whatever the hell was going on. But I knew that space was fucking scary.
Mm.
And to my young mind, this was the scariest episode.
It was going to help you pass biology class.
It helped me pass biology class, and it was terrifying. It also had, in my mind, at the time, pre-Star Wars, the single greatest effects I'd ever seen on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And
it also had like thousands of voices cried out were suddenly silenced.
Yeah, they ripped it off in Star Wars, and I knew it. I was like, aha, I knew it. And that is, of course, the only thing wrong with this episode is it does not have an original score. It uses library tracks, other tracks from other episodes. It's, of course, season 2's masterful The Immunity Syndrome.
Captain's log, stardate 4308.8.
The Intrepid. It just died. And the 400 Vulcans aboard, all dead.
The stars are gone.
According to the life monitors, we're dying. We're all dying.
I cannot say what it is, Captain, but I would say it has found us.
Grant me my own kind of dignity. How can I grant you what I don't understand? Contact in 6 seconds.
Spock, come in.
Come in.
Contact lost, sir.
Power levels are dead, sir. You may have just written our epitaph, Mr. Scott.
And it is one of my favorite episodes of all Star Trek. And, it truly is terrifying. And it makes space scary. And I mean, a zone of darkness. Vulcans were destroyed.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what was happening to them.
They were astonished.
Had no astonishment. Yeah. Well, because they were using logic and nothing that they that was in front of them.
Nothing about
made
that episode
sense.
is logical.
No, that's not true. It is.
I know. I like the Immunity Syndrome. But Rob, I got to tell you, did you see that the James Webb Telescope, the Zone of Darkness? The first thing I thought was, there's a space amoeba in there.
Dude, and I'm terrified.
I know, right? I mean, this giant zone of darkness.
I mean, like James Webb, somebody should just do a TV series. Every time there's a new picture that the James Webb Telescope downloads, you just write a story about that picture.
It's amazing.
Rob, if it's any consolation, we are never going to be anywhere near any of those photos. So don't worry about it.
I know.
Yes, but what if they become near us?
Yeah, they won't.
No, Elon Musk said in about 10 years he'll be there.
Uh-huh.
He says these things that make
with the help of Al Ruddy.
Yeah, Al Ruddy and Elon Musk are on their way, and they can stay there.
No, it's one of my favorite episodes of Star Trek ever, and happy to bring it.
Yeah, and just like you said, remarkable effects. That amoeba, that space amoeba, is just incredible, and it has that great McCoy Spock dialogue. You should have wished me luck.
Yeah,
so great.
I mean, that to me was, when I was a kid, I'm like, oh man, that was like the ultimate diss.
Yeah,
the ultimate diss.
Yeah,
and it was Spock. It was Spock. He wasn't being emotional, but he was being like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, right.
And he never did that ever anywhere else in the series, ever.
Yeah, to me, it kind of was the second-rate Doomsday Machine, but I still like it.
Yeah,
and it has that great character moments, which really redeem it.
See, I don't see it that way.
Yeah,
because
no, I get it. I get why you love it.
It's a good episode.
I like it a lot. I mean, I'd be happy to watch it with you. I'll watch it with you. Well, nothing but time. So it'll be definitely, it's definitely, rewatchable too. Which is,
and by the way, it is
over and over and over.
I will say this: it's one of the only episodes of the remastered Star Trek that I will watch, and I don't actually mind.
Oh, Tomorrow's Yesterday. I feel that way about. Like, I really like the remastered Tomorrow's Yesterday.
Really good, and Court Martial.
Oh yeah, Court Martial. Yeah,
I just mentioned all the episodes.
No. Okay. Well, that's a great pick. Immunity Syndrome. Not surprised. I'm actually surprised that Survivors was picked by someone other than you. but I think we got a couple more coming. Ashley Miller, what's your pick?
I'm staying with Deep Space Nine for right now, and I am also going to bring a two-parter.
I know what you're gonna say.
Maybe you do. Maybe
the
you
Dyer's
don't.
Cast.
God damn it! Yes. The season 3, episode 20 and 21, Improbable Cause and the Dyer's Cast.
There's an entire fleet decloaking out there.
Open fire has just begun. So much for the Dominion. The consequences
There's a good chance you won't be coming back from this mission.
are deadly.
You've turned us into sitting ducks for the Jem'Hadar.
Who will survive?
2,000 meters. 500.
Fire! The war to end all wars on the next Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Like, these were the episodes that, to me, look, I love Deep Space Nine already by the time that we got to these episodes. But in the same way that yesterday's Enterprise sort of said, okay, Next Generation is here to play. Like, it just in terms of, what it can do. Like, Improbable Cause, the Dyer's Cast was, Deep Space Nine's statement game, right? These were the episodes that in many ways defined what the show was going to be through its conclusion. And it did it so well. It has amazing performances in it, great, big action with just awesome twists at the end. It's super cool. It's everything you wanted to see in a fleet battle out of Star Trek, but you hadn't up to that point. So well executed. Andrew Robinson as Garrick, a simple tailor, but not, is totally fantastic. His relationship with Enabran Tain is fantastic. Let me just tell you something else about Andrew Robinson. Andrew Robinson is also a voice on my show on Netflix, DOTA Dragon's Blood. Third season dropping August 11th on Netflix.
He also plays Scorpio in Dirty Harry, which has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, he does. It was Odo. I mean, actually, there is a great scene between Odo and Garrick. Rene Auberjonois, who's always fantastic, but is particularly
missed. So missed. What a sweet man he was. What a talented actor. It just that was a real loss.
And his name means shaded like purple.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, those are great. That's a great two-parter. There aren't, it's funny that there aren't a lot of great Trek two-parters, honestly. Menagerie obviously is great. Chain of Command, which Rob mentioned, is great. Dyer's Cast, but there's a lot of dissents, and even stuff like Best of Both Worlds, which doesn't stick the landing in the way that the first part does.
Oh, I think it does. How dare you, sir?
I love part 1, but man, I just am not a fan of part 2.
I love all of it. Well, for me, those episodes are about Riker.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He is the main character.
Oh.
No, I think it's Frakes' best performance in Star Trek. I absolutely love it.
I'm with you.
As most people do. So you are definitely in the majority. I've just never liked Best of Both Worlds Part 2. But I love part 1. Anyway, we've had this conversation before.
Yes.
I don't want to bore you with it again. But I do want to move to great picks, Ashley, on the Deep Space Nine front, both those episodes. So, Darren, that brings us to you. What's your pick for your number 6?
My 6th pick is going to be a surprise for most of you.
Surprise!
Wow, really?
Total Recall.
I'm going to pick from the Next Generation.
No. You are going to pick from the Next Generation?
I am. That's extraordinary. My pick is a really crappy episode, but I love it because of the guest star, Ashley Judd in The Game.
Oh, come on. This isn't Guilty Pleasures. This is Desert Island Discs.
Yeah. That's correct. And I get to pick what the hell I want.
Yeah, you do. I just think it's ridiculous.
Hanson Robin Leffler? Come on.
Hanson Robin Leffler.
Done.
And her list of rules, which are right, Chris, and the
totally preceding.
So all her episodes are represented. We have Darmok.
Can I speak, please?
No. I just want to say all of Ashley's episodes are recommended. We got Darmok, and now we have The Game. That's so there correct. You go. It's you hit for the cycle.
Look, the love story between her and Wesley is completely ludicrous.
Oh God.
But she is so luminous in it, and I love her. I have since the beginning. So I'm just going with my gut feeling here. So The Game, and Riker is terrible in it too. So
terrible. There were so many people on that show I did not need to see have orgasms.
And it wasn't
really effects guy. How do you feel about those effects?
Oh my gosh.
Terrible.
Somebody should release the app.
Yeah.
But can it make you orgasm when you get one of those things in the...
No, that's Sub Rosa, apparently. Light the candle.
Yeah, Sub Rosa candles.
Yeah, Sub Rosa candle.
But
somebody was selling that in Vegas.
Pick, and some people may say I'm throwing my vote away. But I
love it. I'm with you. I love it.
It's great.
Yeah, okay.
Who doesn't want to see, by the way, a Star Trek buddy movie with Sonia Gomez and Robin Leffler? Come on. Wouldn't that be great?
And Encino from Lower Decks, the TV, not the cartoon.
More interesting than Wesley Crusher.
Oh God, she's.
When did people fall in love with Will Wheaton?
Never did.
Never.
I mean, there's so much. The fans seem to really be into that. I mean, when we were watching, everybody hated him. He was like Noah Hathaway as Boxy.
We didn't hate the actor.
No, we didn't hate the actor, but we hated the character.
We hated the game.
No,
I wanted to see Will Wheaton go off and do stuff like Stand By Me.
No,
I thought he had
the
a
player,
better
not the game.
Right.
Yeah.
The Player isn't an episode.
Oh,
the Player is a film. Very good.
Yeah. Okay. So that brings us to me for my pick.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was actually thinking of picking Tropic Thunder because Ben Stiller watches Arena in it, and then I said, why would I pick Tropic Thunder for him watching Arena when I could pick Arena? Because we're stranded on a planetoid, and we have a lot of hate built up. The people that stranded us here, the people who can't find, but the Arena teaches us to forgive. That there is great, joy and forgiveness. That it's the right thing to do. And I think that,
and it was unexpected of humanity by the Metrons.
We can take the surrounding rocks and create a rudimentary DVD player.
So I'm going to pick a wonderful episode which depicts the Gorn the way they should be depicted, and it's the wonderful Arena that Gene Kuhn wrote for the original Star Trek with such a potent message that continues to resonate
that he'd
today.
read the story somewhere else.
Yeah, well,
loosely based on the story by Frederick Brown.
Yes,
it's not. He came up with it, and then they said, "Oh, this is similar
like something
to
else." Yeah,
so now they got the rights to protect themselves. Yeah, but
it's all right.
Yeah, but they did get the rights as opposed to
because they didn't want to be sued.
Le Guin, those who walk away from Umlass, Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I think Arena is a terrific episode.
It is.
We all love. It's a great Kirk episode, and it's a great episode about the Star Trek characters watching Star Trek on TV.
Trek
on their big screen TV. They get to watch their, and it's a great episode. They're like all digging it. So, and of course, that teaser is just the best. Ancestry has been destroyed, and all that great stuff out of Vasquez Rocks. With the Ancestry stuff, and then later on,
unbelievable.
It's just so great. I mean, that fort that they built, that they used in Mission Impossible and a million other things.
I just saw that Mission Impossible episode yesterday.
Oh yeah,
it's great. Where they're walking out of that fort with Spock's father.
I'm sorry they tore that down.
Yeah, me too.
I wish it was still out there.
Me too. It's great.
We could go out there and just play Star Trek. We at that fort.
I would love that, but we can't.
We can't because we're too old for that, and it doesn't exist. Okay, so that's my pick. So now we're going to number 7. We're getting into the final few picks. So choose wisely. Kay, what's number 7?
This is tough because we are getting to the end, and I don't know how many more ridiculous episodes I should really choose.
You're doing well. Picking good stuff.
So I'm going to go with one that I just find to be an absolute blast. Mirror, Mirror.
Ooh, you took Rob's pick. Nice.
It's a good pick.
He can watch it. I have it. He can watch it. Yeah. It's just so much fun. All the actors have a great time playing their various facial hair, and I love it. And I just love just what they did with the mirror universe, I think is just so cool.
Yeah. It's so great. Rob, I know you're a huge fan of this episode. Why don't you tell us why you'll be thrilled that Kay has Mirror on the...
You know, one of the things I love about this episode is Spock. Is that when Kirk points out that Spock is an honorable man in both universes. The idea that they subvert who and what we are. The humans we're reversed from who we might be, but Spock really isn't.
Yeah.
And that logic and Spock himself prevails in both universes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I love it. He's still doing his duty. He has to do his duty. But he's a man you can trust, even if if the world is topsy-turvy, upside down, everything is inverted, you can still rely on Spock's intellect and logic to get you through the day, right. Even if some of his operatives are Vulcans. And not only that, I mean, at the end, when our crew comes back to our universe, when Spock even says, our Spock says, it was very, he talks about how it's much easier for you as civilized men to pretend you're barbarians than for barbarians to pretend they're civilized men. And it's such a great episode. Also, it has a female character that I love, Marlena Moreau, who's the captain's woman. She will stop at nothing. She's ambitious. She's ruthless. But at the same time, she also understands. She can see when she sees the essence of a person. She knows Kirk is not the same Kirk. Mm-hmm. She feels it. She knows it. And she ends up the heroine of the episode. She saves their lives.
Yeah.
And she knows enough to spare Sulu. And it's pretty great.
Which he was very grateful about.
I mean, it's a great. If you look in terms of a look into the human psyche and what makes humanity great, even though it's sort of counterintuitive, Mirror is a great episode of Star Trek.
Plus, it gave us the Tantalus device, which was critical to the conclusion of the most recent Starship Smackdown.
That's correct.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Don't remind me. Okay. So that's a great pick. Unfortunately, it's opened the door to Rob picking the alternative factor now. So Rob, what's your pick for number 7?
Well, I have to say, I'm going to go back to the original series, the first season. I think it's one of the finest episodes of Star Trek ever. But I think one of the reasons why it is the greatest, or one of the greatest episodes of the original series, is I don't think that Star Trek has villains. I think Star Trek has antagonists. And one of the great things that Star Trek always did was it made their antagonists relatable. You understood who they were and why they were doing what they were doing. And never more so than we got insight into the psyche of one of Star Trek's great antagonistic alien races, the Romulans. And that episode is Bound to Terror.
Captain's log, stardate 1710.0. The Starship Enterprise is under heavy attack by an enemy vessel.
Obviously, their weaponry is superior to ours, and they have a practical invisibility screen.
Helm, hard over. Phasers, fire, point blank.
I'm pointing out that we could have Romulan spies aboard this ship.
The Earth Commander will follow. He must. And when he attacks, we will destroy him.
Permit me the glory of the kill, Commander.
Thomason. We have him. Move toward him.
We can get just one phaser going. Phasers, Mr. Spock.
Impossible, Captain.
We have some of the old-style nuclear warheads aboard.
Yes, Commander, but only for self-destruction.
Place one in with the debris.
Balance of Terror is, in my mind, I understand it's basically a World War II submarine scenario, but what sets it apart is it didn't have to do this. but it spends an inordinate amount of time on the Romulan ship.
Right.
Where we see Mark Leonard as the first Romulan. Obviously, he played Spock's father. He played Sarek.
Later, yes.
But later. But the relationship that he has with his Centurion, his subcommander, his friend. And one of the great conversations in any Star Trek episode is when his friend is saying, well, look, I know we're probing the Federation defenses and we found a weakness. And if there is not a weakness, or if there is a weakness, isn't it our duty to exploit it? That's what we do.
Yeah.
And Mark Leonard said, but must it always be so? Why is it we have to do this? Why do we have to exploit a weakness? And he has one of my favorite lines in Star Trek. My gift to the homeland, another war.
How great is it that Star Trek consistently had us not only attempt to understand, but empathize with our antagonists, whether it would be Balance of Terror, or as we mentioned in Arena, or even in Errand of Mercy, or in The Devil in the Dark. It's extraordinary. Armis.
I mean, it is. I mean, what was so great about this episode? It's a great action adventure episode. It has great starship porn. You get to see various angles of ships we hadn't seen before. The Romulan bird of prey or whatever, warbird, is scary AF. That plasma weapon it fires. I remember as a kid, I'm like, oh,
trying to outrun it. Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the acting in that episode is amazing. And at the same time, there's no room for racism or bigotry on my bridge.
Yeah.
It works in. It is a beautiful episode, not just of Star Trek, but of television. And it's one of the great episodes of Star Trek of all time.
No question about it.
Yep.
Fantastic.
One of my very favorites.
Great pick. Ashley, what about you? Your seventh pick.
My seventh.
You have 7 picks. 3
7
picks
of 10,
left.
Not 7 of 9. I'm going to, because, all those proceeding as I have foreseen, the things I would have chosen from the original series just keep popping up. I am going to stay in Deep Space Nine land.
Of course.
And I am going to pick something that will hopefully scratch a couple of different itches. I'm going to pick the 10th episode of season 4, written by Ronald D. Moore. It's great. It's fun. We did on an entirely different podcast.
Oh yes, that's a fine choice.
We reviewed this episode. Our man Bashir.
Great.
You know his name.
Bashir. Julian Bashir.
You know his game.
I'm a spy.
But when Bashir's fantasy
Charmed
crashes into reality,
Whatever you do, don't end that program.
the stakes of playing become life and death.
I don't have time for games.
diabolical, visionary.
On the next Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
One of the great holodeck episodes of all time. And at the same time, it's really just it's fun. It's a great send up, but a very knowing send up of James Bond films and just James Bond in general, but like without occasionally shticky, but in a good way. But it also manages to be a very serious look at how somebody like Julian Bashir looks at the universe compared to somebody like Garak. And there's a lesson that Garak is trying to teach him about how to look at his enemies and how to look at problems and how he should be just a little bit more like Garak if he wants to survive everything that's coming for them. And it's fascinating. But again, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Avery Brooks, I can't even imagine, what their set budget was, because I think Avery Brooks ate the entire set in that
Dr.
episode.
Noah.
Dr. Noah. He was unhinged in the best possible way.
He's so great. And, you think, and I love what you said, because you think it's just a parody of Bond on the surface, or if you read the TV guide description, but there's, as the best Deep Space Nines always do, it's about more than that. And that's what's so great about that episode, and obviously they have so much fun. Nana playing Mona Loves It, and Terry Farrell, and everyone's just so great. Colm Meaney is the henchman, and it's just it's a delight from start to finish. Okay, so that brings us to Darren, his 7th pick. What will it be? Lucky or unlucky?
My 7th pick is something that I'm incredibly surprised that not one of you has picked yet.
Wow.
Oh boy.
It's a little film called Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, see, there you go.
But see, God damn it.
I knew. All is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Still, old friend.
In terms of films, it is the number 2 film for me. Mm-hmm. But it's great. It is a great episode of the original series, writ large on the screen. And Ricardo Montalban's performance is amazing.
Yeah.
Especially
as is his chest.
Yes,
it's right out there.
His chest is right out there. And but he is so good without even having been in the same room as Shatner. He is, the famous quote where Nick Meyer said, it's not always good to show your top. And of course, Ricardo said, you're going to direct me. Good. I need this. It's great. And it's so much fun. And as we read at Comic-Con, the early one of the early scripts for Wrath of Khan, without Khan, from Sam Peoples' horribly disappointing script, it had interesting moments, but the ability for Nick Meyer to cull the best parts of all the scripts and combine it into one is
in weeks. Days.
No,
in
11 days. Yeah.
It's so great, and the flavor of it is very much Star Trek. Yet it's more, because it adds the gravitas of getting older and facing your decisions, and sometimes making the wrong decisions.
And the amount of quotable dialogue is astonishing.
It's great. And the discovery of Kirstie Alley as Saavik is great. She does an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
From having been a little girl pretending to be Spock by raising her eyebrow.
Until she became a crazy Republican, she was my
Let's not go
favorite.
that far, please. I'm just talking about the movie. Thank you very much.
She's so great. She's so great in it.
She's great in that.
There was a Republican that appeared
hair?
in Star Trek. That would be Lincoln in the Savage Crowd.
That's correct.
Back in the days of sanity.
Anyway.
And Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer was not in Star Trek 2.
He was in Cause and Effect.
No, not in Star Trek 2, but
he's the captain of the Bozeman.
He was in Cosby and Effect.
Cosby and Effect. But yeah,
the road movie.
I think Wrath of Khan, when we're stranded on a planetoid, buried alive, it'll be great to watch Star Trek 2 again and again.
It's fun to watch again and again.
We've already watched it 100 times, so why not watch it hundreds of more?
Exactly. And as Walter Koenig said the last time he saw the film, it's not bad. It's pretty fun. So I think that
that was amazing.
That's a good vote for it.
No, I think that would be on all our lists, but you picked it first, so
I did.
I mean, that's great pick. Okay. So that brings us to number 8.
No, that brings us to your number 7.
My number 7. Well, unfortunately, Al Ruddy failed to get us copies of The Godfather. So I'm going to pick the next best thing. I'm going to go with a piece of the action from the original series.
Ship's log. Mr. Spock reporting. Dr. McCoy and I are prisoners of the chief criminal boss of a society patterned after old Earth gangsters.
Put your hands over your head. Or you ain't gonna have no head to put your hands over.
You want to live, don't you, Kirk? You bet you do. But after I get through with you...
I don't have those tools by then. I'm gonna call up your ship and have them pick you up in a box. Kinda like this. I'm gonna get one myself. Wait a moment. What have they done? What have they done to you? What have you done?
Okay, Pally, we're going for a ride.
I just need something that's super fun that I love. I could watch that episode. I had the photo novel. I could watch that episode. Is it Star Trek's best episode? No. Is it its most fun episode? Probably. I can watch that thing over and over and over again, and I have, and I love it.
And you will be.
And I will be. And such great performances from everyone.
Yeah. I mean, some of the best guest acting of the entire series ever.
Yeah. Dun dun dun
so
dun,
good.
dun, dun. And yeah, Bella Oxmick, and you got Vic Tayback as Jojo Kracko. The Fizbin scene is
they're trying to figure out what's going on. Those actors, man, they did not get the credit they deserve. They were so good.
I really wanted to see Piece of the Action Part 2 with Bella Oxmick's son, Michael.
Produced by Al Ruddy?
No, Al Ruddy was never anywhere near it.
No, there was flashbacks to Bella Oxmick.
No. There would have been somebody, because they were very imitative species. Somebody would have imitated Al Ruddy. He would have pretended he was Al Ruddy. I'm the Al Ruddy of Sigma Iosha.
But how great is that scene where Spock attempts to communicate with the Enterprise and he's trying to impress McCoy, and you flip the switch and you do the thing and the Enterprise should answer. And then it's like bang, bang, the sweetest little handgun in the world. Oh my God. It's so great. When that came on WPIX, I was always thrilled. I mean, I got like my dad would rush in, my brother, everybody loved it.
My dad loved it too.
Yeah, it's a gangster. Star Trek. It's no wonder it's interesting that Quentin gravitated towards that for his abandoned Star Trek film that he wanted to do. Basically Piece of the Action.
Yeah.
So, but and Shatner and Nimoy are so stinking good in that, playing gangster and having so much fun. Where he tries to drive the car.
You're an excellent Starship Commander.
Yeah,
so funny.
It's great. I'm gonna come down there with some of my boys. It's just it's so great. So anyway, that's my pick, Piece of the Action, because we're gonna need a little cheering up, because we're gonna miss Earth. It's because it's not easy to be a rocket man far from home. Mars ain't a place to leave your wife, and so we're gonna be gonna be sitting and missing our home, and so Piece of the Action will make it just a little bit easier. So that brings us to number 8 and Kay Reindl again.
Okay, I don't want to hear it. My choice for my number 8 pick is the penultimate episode of the first season of Strange New Worlds, called All Those Who Wander, because it is...
The aliens? This is the one with the aliens?
Yes, it is a straight up horror episode, shot like a horror episode. It's beautifully made.
Rob just logged off. Rob literally just logged off. He just walked away.
We just lost him. We just lost Rob.
I can't believe that. He just hung up
trying
on
to
us.
take Genesis.
Oh my God. Oh, he's back. Oh wait, no, he's gone.
He needed more booze. He's back. He's
my
fine.
God.
You know what, Rob? It's just going to get worse from here, my friend. It's just going to get worse from here.
Newt? They had Newt. Come on. How did the Gorns in that episode become a spacefaring race?
Let Kay continue to make her.
Let Kay finish her
yum. I love it. I think it's actually genuinely suspenseful and scary. I love what they've done with the Gorn. I
logged off again. Oh my God, Ron, come on, listen to her.
You can't knock them over with rocks anymore. It's just different, and I loved it. I thought it was really, really, really good, especially for Star Trek. Any Star Trek to do straight up horror.
Great, Rob. Now your pick for number 8.
Well, I respect my esteemed colleague.
Oh, look, everyone has we celebrate what we love.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Kay loves that. She wants that to bring that.
Look, I was just kidding. It was all about humor. Good humor.
And everyone has a secret pain.
Because I haven't finished watching that episode, so I can't even weigh in. I turned it off. So
okay. Here I'm going to pick a book. One of the things that I find interesting about
not the book.
No, modern Star Trek book, not
Read the
Chicago
book.
mobs of the 20s. We've seen Patrick Stewart. The first 2 seasons of Picard was very much about Patrick Stewart himself.
Yeah, no kidding.
It was not so much the character of Picard, but Patrick Stewart using Star Trek as a platform to examine his own life, which is interesting.
But why did I have to watch it?
I am right there. You and I park our shuttlecrafts in the same shuttle bay. Let me tell you. But I will say that. Do you know who in terms of somebody examining their own lives through the lens of Star Trek, I would say, not surprisingly, William Shatner did it best. William Shatner went and found the best Star Trek novelists.
The Ashes of
Judith
Eden. Here it comes.
and Garfield Reeve Stevens, yes. And Shatner, and they have told me directly, I said, come on, does Shatner write these books? And they both said, confirmed to me, they're Shatner's ideas.
Heck war?
And I would say this, I have read Shatner's original treatment for Star Trek V, which was called Act of Love, which is actually quite good. The ideas didn't necessarily translate into Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, but his original treatment is fascinating. I love The Ashes of Eden. I think if that had been the basis of a movie, if that had been his last film, we would now look upon it as a classic. And I think that they wrote 10 books together, the Reeve Stevens and Shatner.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, it was a great synthesis of Shatner as an actor exploring what the Kirk character meant to him, and 2 writers who were steeped in Star Trek canon and they were drenched in the lore, who understood how to take Shatner's ideas and caress them into the Star Trek mythology to create something that is very worthy of the name Star Trek. And, of their collaborations, I didn't like the last 3, the final trilogy, but I think they did a fantastic job with the first, they call it the Odyssey trilogy, but The Ashes of Eden, that was also adapted into a comic book, is amazing. And I love it.
Okay. Ashes of Eden is Rob's pick for 8. Ashley, what's your pick?
Okay. So I'm going to make Rob happy.
The alternative factor.
Yes. No. Never. No. I'm going to bring a little companion piece for a previous pick.
That's making Scott Mance happy.
We're not bringing the companion.
Okay.
The companion
Metamorphosis. No.
No, not Metamorphosis. No, goddammit. Because I am still in Deep Space Nine land and all is proceeding as I have foreseen, except for that little foray into the thing that happened a couple of minutes ago, which I didn't see coming. I'm going to pick Deep Space Nine's homage to the original series, Trials and Tribulations, which was written by basically everybody on the writing staff. It's so well made. It's like, it's funny. It's smart. It's cool. It was like, man, I got to tell you, the night that episode broadcast for the first time, my friends came up. My wife got out of our apartment. It was our first apartment. We drank so much and watched that episode over and over again. And when my wife came home late that night, she found the 3 of us passed out. The episode was still playing.
Caressing a tribble.
I was sitting on a couch and my beer was sort of falling out of my hand and pouring on the head of my friend. And I will take that with me to my grave. And so, Trials and Tribulations means a lot to me. It was the first fight that I had with my wife. It was great, guys. So we're bringing it.
Did you ever see the end of the episode?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we watched it again and again. And again.
I think it's safe to say everybody but Darren is a huge fan of this episode.
What are you talking about? I like this episode.
Did you keep putting it down?
Well, Ashley actually found it on the ground, and Darren's denied he brought it, but it was in his pack. It was in his luggage.
That's all.
When we were stranded here. It was in his luggage.
Okay.
Darren
I think it's fun. You're putting words into my mouth.
Don't wait for the translation.
Answer me now.
Well, we know Darren ain't picking Star Trek 6. What are you picking for number 8?
For number 8, oh, look, there's a kitty.
Oh, so cute. Kay has a kitty.
The kitty's coming
Watch
with
out
us.
for the
Okay,
Gorn.
Mark.
My pick is another book. It is the book. It is.
Rob already picked it. 50-year mission.
No, he's going to say Stephen Whitfield's The Making of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Stephen Whitfield, otherwise known as Stephen Edward Poe, wrote The Making of Star Trek, the book on how to write for TV, featuring bold letters of the words of the great bird of the galaxy strewn throughout. It is amazing. It had a selection of photos that were unmatched, except for a certain too dark shadow on a phaser that made some phaser replicas really ugly for the next few years. It's amazing. I must have read it 50 times. And it is great. It is unmatched. And I remember seeing the pictures of the sets in the book, where you could see the permanence up in the rafters and the studio lighting. I just found it amazing, and it really opened up that world to me in a way that you could never imagine just while you're watching television. So
it's a great pick. It's a great pick.
It's interesting. In my mind, I think I have an open study Bible on my shelf, and I think about the Book of Genesis. And then I think about The Making of Star Trek, and they both carry about the same amount of weight with me. They're all about creation, about life, about my life, my God. Amazing. And I've read that book as many times as you have. And it made me want to make movies before I even knew I wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That's a great pick, Darren. Really great pick. And it's funny because I'd been dancing around like the blueprints and the technical manual and all that stuff. But I think The Making of Star Trek is the, kind of definitive book, even though I do adore the blueprints and technical manual. So I'm going to pick something adjacent to that, which is, and you're going to laugh, but I want to have it with me, which is Mego's Mission to Gamma 6.
Okay.
This was a toy
I could never find that
based
as a
on
kid.
the Apple, and it had a giant Vale. And it came with, you could put your hand in the glove and capture the Lilliputians or the landing party. And it had a trap door, along with the Planet of the Apes treehouse. This was one of the great toys of my childhood, along with 2XL. And I have fond memories of it. And if we're going to be stranded on a planet, and maybe, who knows, maybe the properties of the water there will make us revert to childhood. I don't know.
Of course, you have no action figures to play.
We'll be rascals.
That's true. I have no action figures for the play set. Oh, maybe this wasn't well thought out. My Mego's Mission to Gamma 3. I'm not
Gamma
sure that.
6.
Gamma 6. Yes. Gamma Hydra 2.
That's right.
Okay. Can I take that one back? No,
Nope.
Because we got to get the show over with. So it's my pick is Mego's Mission to Gamma 6. So now we're going to go to lightning round. Number 9, starting again with Kay.
Number 9, also not going to be very popular on this podcast. It is another episode of Strange New World, Spock Amok.
Security breach at airlock 4.
Don't shoot. We're crew.
You have a relationship opportunity. A Vulcan soul sharing.
We can truly understand each other.
This is coming dangerously close to hijinks. Who doesn't love hijinks? That really stings.
I do not like hijinks. Get out of town. We are not in a town.
Which I just think is so much fun.
Rob, we just lost Rob again.
Rob's left, but that's fine.
Rob,
fine,
you got to respect.
I'm going to be able to just be in my cave watching my shows.
Yes, you will.
That's fine.
So I'm fine with that.
You go on paying your $5.99 a month.
Oh, I will.
We get streaming on this planetoid? I didn't know that.
Yeah, of course.
Shit. Well,
No, I'll buy it when it comes out. All the discs, my friend.
There you go. Okay, so Kay's.
It's a really fun episode. So that's my pick.
It's nice. It's good to like things.
Thank you.
Listen,
dear.
you know what? This is what I love. Having Kay here with we see a diversity, a multiplicity of opinions, and that's what
Edic's all about.
Aboard her.
That's what the Starship is about.
And I think, is there a more substantive conversation to have about this subject? Probably, but now is not the time to have it. And again, we just celebrate what we love. Kay is celebrating what she loves, and that's good for her. Good on her. So Rob Burnett, what's your pick for number 9?
My pick is the AMT plastic model, the 18-inch model of the Starship Enterprise. That as a child, I probably built 30 of them. And it was the first time I could hold my imagination in my hand. Watching Star Trek, that model kit, that model of the Enterprise, which I played with more than any toy I ever had. I mean, just holding it up and making it come toward me and imagining camera angles in my mind, burning it up when I made the constellation or whatever. And what was interesting about that was, I think around 1975, they added all the other names from the technical manual.
Yes, they did.
Into the decals. When I told my mother I needed 12 of them. And my mother looked at me and she's like,
Kay's pick is looking better and better.
I'm just saying that I could hold it. I could hold my imagination in my hand.
Right.
And that's
in my hand, Marcus. I had it in my hand.
That's why I loved it.
Okay. Great pick. We all built that model kit. It was fantastic. We didn't build 12 of them. I was speaking for myself, but it was pretty amazing.
You had that in the Congo, Mark.
Look, I'll tell you what screwed me up was that Star Trek the Motion Picture refit with the lights. That was way beyond my abilities. Okay, Ashley Miller, what's your pick for number 9?
I'm not going to dance around it. I'm just going to pick it, bring it.
He is without sin.
No, I'm going to pick a book. I am, in fact, going to pick Franz Joseph's, not to be confused with Franz Ferdinand, Franz Joseph's Starfleet Technical Manual. Which I just spent untold hours with as a child, paging through it and just, like Rob said, I'm holding my imagination in my hand, just looking at those ships and wanting to see them on the screen. And we never quite did, but God, I love that.
I'm still waiting for that dreadnought to show up.
Oh my God, me too. In fact, that it made there's actually one of the pocketbooks, Dreadnought, which I just got. And
the first
read.
Mary Sue story.
Yes, exactly. But it also had the Dreadnought in it, and that was important.
I know.
The Dreadnought is the Mary Sue.
Tricked us.
That's right.
Great.
Why do you think it had a third nacelle?
Just because Caramanga had a third nipple.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying.
You're ruining my childhood.
It's on the cover of the book.
Oh, stop it. Come on. What are you ruining this wonderful pick for? That was such a great thing. Great pick. Okay.
I didn't ruin it.
You're making fun of poor Ashley.
No, he's not. He's just.
Oh, no.
It's the.
I'm not.
Okay.
All right.
Darren, number 9.
Number 9, my pick is the last episode of The Next Generation, All Good Things, the one that should have been the movie.
The trial never ended, Captain. It's time to put an end to your trek through the stars.
The past, the present, and the future are on a collision course as Star Trek The Next Generation's epic series finale, All Good Things, comes to life on Blu-ray.
I'm moving back and forth through time.
And the fate of all mankind depends on one man.
We don't have time for this! We have to save humanity!
He's Jean-Luc Picard, and if he wants to go on one more mission, that's what we're going to do.
Witness this unforgettable end to an incredible journey that won a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation.
We can't stay, Captain.
We have to! Everything depends on it!
This feature-length season finale has been painstakingly remastered from the original 35mm negatives to bring you unmatched picture-perfect quality.
A lot of things can happen in 25 years.
And for the first time ever, experience an all-new retrospective documentary featuring new interviews and archival behind-the-scenes footage.
How can I etch yet another facet in this character so that the audience will go, oh, there was something more with Q.
I was weary, and we came to the last episode, and I felt a sense of relief.
We had not only just had 7 great years together, it was the beginning of the film franchise. We did 4 movies after that. Who gets that lucky?
Plus, a new audio commentary with writer-producer duo Ronald D. Moore and Brannon Braga, and never-before-seen deleted scenes.
Why have you come here?
We heard about the light. They told us about the power it has to heal illness, and we had to come here.
God, yes.
It's great. I love it. It doesn't really make sense if you step back and think about it, because the anomaly shouldn't be a certain size in the future. But it's fine. It doesn't matter because it's fun, and it's fun to see Patrick Stewart just wandering around so confused for the entire episode.
The beauty of it, then we got a whole first season of Picard with that.
Yeah, well, he's equally confused. And I think it's a good character moment for him.
It's such a beautiful ending. That last scene, it's so
great.
You're always welcome.
The perfect coda to Next Generation, and it should have ended right there. It
should have ended with seeing the Enterprise go away and just exploding. That would have been perfect, and we would have been out of it.
It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful that finale, beautifully done by Ron and Brannon and Michael Piller, pinch hitting as well. Okay, so that brings me to 9, and mine will be a palate cleanser. I'm going to pick the Menagerie. The appearance of Captain Pike on the Enterprise, played by the great Jeffrey Hunter, and of course the unemotional Majel Barrett as number 1, and it's the story of the first the mission of the Enterprise, in which and Spock sacrificing everything to save his captain, who had no idea about the fate that was going to befall him.
That's right, none whatsoever.
But it's such a great 2-parter. It's a great cliffhanger. There's a wonderful performance by the great Malachi Throne, false face of Batman fame, right. and it's just and the Telosians are one of the great aliens of Star Trek. Amazing makeup, just everything about it is just really, really terrific. And Darren and I recently watched The Cage on the big screen and appreciated it even more, particularly the performance of Jeffrey Hunter on the big screen.
There's a reason that there's a death penalty for visiting Talos 4. And the fact that certain shows don't recognize that just pisses me off. But the original Menagerie is so great, and such a great setup, and such a creative way of framing that original pilot. It's brilliant.
And brilliant producing, because it was a money saver. I mean, it's
anybody's worked in
producing.
TV, it is absolute genius how they were able to salvage the pilot with a different cast and create a cheap wraparound that they to go around the envelope.
Basically, you get 2 episodes for the cost of a half an episode.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
But beyond that, it created lore and history to the Star Trek universe. More so, I mean, it cannot be undersold how much lore it created that is even being mined now. 56 years later, they're looking back at what they did for the pilot that was rejected by a network. And it is now the basis of an entire new series.
Yeah. When we learned that Pike loved cooking. Oh, wait, that wasn't in that. But absolutely. It provides the foundation for an entirely new series, and also a Marvel Comics series called Early Voyages,
which is actually quite good.
It's amazing that so much has come out of The Cage, a cancel or busted pilot. It really, whether you love it or not, it's remarkable how 55 something years, more than that, years later, The Cage is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so that brings us to number 10. We're going to go around one last time as we conclude our list of Star Trek Desert Island Treks. And as always, we'll start with KAY REINDL.
Sorry, I was just imagining Anson Mount cooking for me, but
he's a beautiful man.
I mean, the hair alone is just. This is also going to make Rob turn off his camera.
No, you know what, Kay? I've respected you for decades. Since the days I'd run into you at Golden Apple.
Since the days
I was
your
just,
son burned
I will not
space.
make a joke of this. This is the last moment, and I want you to know
yours.
I've had eternal love for you for 30 years.
And not even this can change it.
Sacrifice of Angels
Whatever
hasn't been picked.
Cormite
Maneuver hasn't been picked.
I love it. I think it's super fun. I think everybody's great in it. It's a beautifully made movie. I will be watching it alone in my cave, and I'm fine with it.
I didn't hear what you said.
What was your pick?
2009 Star Trek.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'll watch with you.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? Dan and Rob have both logged
That's
off.
all right. You know what, Kay? We can share the booze.
Okay.
You know why I don't have a problem with that. I mean, not that it matters. It's your pick, and it doesn't matter.
30 years.
No, I don't have a problem with that because it's another universe. It's another universe. So I don't have, because it doesn't shit on what's come before. This is a different universe. So even if I don't necessarily agree with all the choices, it's fine. It's not changing what I know is Star Trek. So I have no problem with that. It's the stuff I have more of a problem is when they say it's in the universe we know is Star Trek. So that's and it's not without its joys.
I love it. I think it's super energetic. The cast is phenomenal. I think it's one of the things that I do like about JJ is that he is so good at casting.
That's
so
true.
Ash
That's
and I
true.
are going to have a lot of fun drinking and watching this movie in our cave.
Right.
And it's total popcorn fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to,
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to be respectful of our guest. She's entitled to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark is trying to be respectful of me, Rob.
Everybody's entitled.
I'm very respectful of you. Let's talk X-Files. Come on.
Oh, man.
Okay, that's a whole nother episode. Okay, so look, we're wrapping up. So Kay's picked Star Trek 2009. Rob, what's your pick? Star Trek
This
Beyond.
might come as a great surprise, and it's going to be maddening to some. As many people know, I do not look upon modern Star Trek with much favor. However, as Kirk said, there are always possibilities. And in Star Trek 6, they talk about being too set in your ways. Are we too old?
Would that
all of these
constitute
things.
a joke?
My 10th pick for what I bring to a desert island.
Oh, no.
Is Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 5.
Not fair. Not
fair.
Oh, you can't say this, and I'm going to tell you why.
No, I'll allow it.
There is an exchange in that episode that was incredibly unexpected, unbelievably canonical, and I was blown away with a show I hated. I never thought I would love Star Trek again. I mean, I felt Guilty Feet would have no rhythm. I had Careless Whisper. Let me tell you, I was done. I thought I was going to have to throw everything I owned about Star Trek off a cliff. Not true. Star Trek Picard Season 3 gave me hope. And when I got... I'm just telling you, there is an exchange between two characters, and I can't tell you who they are, but one of them you will be surprised by. And when I saw the conversation,
Samuel Cogsley,
Armus, the skin of evil.
Not going to say, I can't say who or what. And all I can say is it's two characters, like in duet, in a room, talking to one another, that are reconciling after a long, call it whatever you want.
Okay.
And I was
Rob's pick.
Rob's pick is something that is not available to anyone.
Season 3.
Oh, but it will be.
It has the benefit of never having been tried.
Okay, look, and let's leave it at that. Let's move on to Ashley.
That's all I can say.
I would like to say fine pick. I certainly hope. I certainly hope so. I do find that Rob has a astoundingly good taste when it comes to Star Trek.
I hated the first 2 seasons of this show, and talk about a turnaround. Just saying.
Okay. Some call it a comeback, baby.
Some call it a comeback.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
I have nothing but high hopes. And as you know, we had Terry Matalis on the show recently, and
that's why I felt I'd say it.
Yeah, was extremely encouraging. Okay. So, Ashley, that brings us to you for your 10th pick. What's it going to be?
Wow. I had something kind of personal in mind, but then, Mark, you said something that made me think. Can I bring a 6-parter?
Yes, you can.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Excellent. In that case, I am going to bring the first 6 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 6, ending with the sacrifice of angels. Just an audacious. I mean, look, most of the whole Dominion arc was awesome, but those 6 episodes were so tight. They were so amazing. They were unlike anything that Star Trek had attempted to do before, and did it so well. And the ending.
It's not true, because they had done this, abandoning the station before in the Circle trilogy.
No. Well, that's true, but I mean, like something that was, because actually you're right, that was 3 episodes. But kind of stretching out like that storytelling over 6 episodes.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Yeah,
and kind of bringing it all together, like in that last episode, that last battle, man. Like when the Klingons come out of the sun, it's awesome. And it just reminds me of everything that I love about those characters, about Deep Space Nine, and about Star Trek in general, because there are great individual Star Trek stories that occur in the context of that 6-parter. And honestly, that's the genius of it. It's not like, I think, one of the worst tendencies of streaming, which is, what if we just sort of end the episode here and kind of continue it on and not resolve anything and feel like we've told a story? This continued things, yet at the same time, it gave you a satisfactory experience. Rocks and Shoals stands out. I don't care what the hell else is going on around it. And yet, as a part of this little sequence of episodes, it was critical. It was consequential. It was everything you would want it to be.
And they were stranded too.
And I wonder if like they brought Gene Pete Kirk straight bourbon whiskey.
Actually, I would ask you a question. I believe I've always said that the 6th season of Deep Space Nine was probably the best and most consistent season of modern Star Trek. What do you think?
I think you're right. We actually did a whole thing on this, I think.
Yeah,
but,
Star Trek's best seasons, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought at first, like, it'll be season 5. But no, you're right. It's season 6.
You mean mid-modern Star Trek?
Yeah, you're right. It's true.
It's not modern Star Trek anymore.
Silver Age.
At the time, yes.
Silver Age, yeah. I'm so glad you picked that, because I had Rocks and Shoals and Sacrifice of Angels on my list, and you took them all off the board.
Nice.
So I'm really glad about that. So okay, great pick, very cagey of you, but you got to have the whole arc. And I think that qualifies. Okay, so Darren, your 10th and final pick. What's it going to be?
10th and final pick is
10th and final pick.
One of my favorite. It's not my favorite TOS episode, but it's my most enjoyable. And that is the one where they lampoon historical adventures and television at the same time. And it is Bread and Circuses. It's so much fun.
Wow.
With a great couple of antagonists in it. We have Captain Merrick and Proconsul Claudius Marcus, just chewing the scenery everywhere they go. Probably one of Shatner's greatest sort of swashbuckling bits, with him running around with a submachine gun. And he gets the girl and gets her pretty well.
They threw him a few curves.
They threw him a few curves, and it's such a fun episode. It shows the balls of steel that Kirk has when he's up there on the podium with the proconsul, and he's seeing his men being put to death. And he says, Proconsul, I've seen forms of entertainment that make this look like a folk dance. And he's just cool as a cucumber, man. And he's just awesome. And I love this episode. And it is so much fun. And it also has a great scene between Spock and McCoy, that is equal to the ones that were in the Immunity Syndrome in my mind.
And Darren, Merrick is a millennial. He's a millennial.
How so, Rob?
Well, he never did the work to get to be a Starfleet captain. So, he's like he's a merchant prince or whatever, just didn't do the work. That's why his name is Merrick, Captain Millennial. If you watch the episode and think about that, it changes the entire meaning.
He took the clear and easy path.
That brings it down to you, Mark.
It does, and I got to bring it all together. I got to bring it all together. So many great episodes that give us all joy, joy and contentment,
gratitude.
But yeah, but it won't be Farpoint. It won't be Return of the Archons. So many Next Generation episodes like Conspiracy that I just really enjoy. But at the end of the day, I want something that wraps it up so that I can watch again and again. So I'm gonna go with a movie. I love it. Celebrates Kirk. It celebrates music. It celebrates Shakespeare. Of course, I'm talking about the greatest Star Trek film that's not a Star Trek film. And it may sound incredibly self-indulgent, but I'm doing this for Rob's sake. Free Enterprise, the great motion picture directed by Rob.
I don't take any responsibility for this.
But, if I'm going to bring something that celebrates Star Trek, celebrates what's great about Star Trek.
It was her idea.
She did.
It was Kay's idea. Kay's idea.
And she was there with us that day after a day of Laser Blazer when we were at Toys R Us. Says you should really make a movie about this.
If it wasn't for Kay, we would never have gone off on that fakakta adventure.
No, that was a great day of laser shopping and eating and going to Toys R Using and it was Kay inspired the whole thing with her. I think it was we were looking at Prince Zizor at the time. It was actually we were buying a Prince Zizor, and that was when Kay had it, much like certain people had with her earlier today, and had it with us, and said, this is so nuts. You guys should just do a movie about this. But
was that the same trip where Rob was scolding a child?
Yeah,
it might have been like that.
It might have been.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah, Rollerblades.
I only wanted him to be better.
Yeah,
I wanted him to be better.
Yeah. I know he was a blue meanie, but anyway,
but with love.
But Free Enterprise is a love letter to original Star Trek. It reminds me of such wonderful memories, not only of in the film, but of making the movie. Of those days, watching Bill Shatner record the hip hop song with the rappers. Mark, all of you, with the exception of Ashley, were involved in one shape or form.
It's practically a Dear John letter to Star Trek.
So you don't think it's more like a Penthouse Forum letter? But
well, it was for me.
Okay, and on that note, I want to thank you all for joining us for this supersized Star Trek Desert Island Treks episode.
A massive episode.
What fun this was, though. What fun this was, and what great picks from everybody. And I'm so thrilled that you could all join us. And there's something for everyone on this list. So if you absolutely get stranded with us, you're sure to find something that will tickle your fancy.
Oh my!
And I'm just glad, Kay, that you didn't pick that Princess Bride episode because the other stuff I understand why you might, but oh my God. Anyway, that thing to me was Mark. Like you think Mask has me upset. So,
Mark, wouldn't it be interesting to hear what the viewers or the listeners of this podcast what they would bring?
Not really.
Would it?
No, we don't care what
That's what you do because see, Rob, you actually want people to pay you money, so you have to engage and ask these like, what do you think? We don't really care.
No, they can stick in the comments below. They don't have to pay me money.
I don't
in the comments.
I don't have to wait.
Or better yet,
good. I mean, they're gonna do it anyway, so we don't need to encourage.
So we don't need to encourage them. No, look, okay. Well, Rob is curious about what you think. So if you want, go on the Twitter and the social and let us know what you would have on your Desert Island trip.
Or just run Mark over with a scooter.
Oh, you know what?
Then tell him your favorite.
Speaking of which, guess who's coming to Vegas? Rafe Needleman. with all new trivia questions. That should be on our list. The official Star Trek trivia manual should be on the list of Desert Island.
The Organian, RAFE Needleman.
The Organian. He's going to stop a war between Rob and Kay.
I love Kay.
Out using
I've always loved
trivia
Kay.
questions.
30
anyway,
years.
This was fun, and yes, if you'd like to share your picks for the Desert Island Treks, please follow us on Inglorious Trek on Twitter, Inglorious Treksperts on Instagram, and of course on Facebook as well. And until next week, with a very special shout out to Mark Rivera, Bill Ritter, everybody at Electric for all their support. And until next week, on behalf of Kay, Ashley, Rob, Darren, and myself, keep on trekking ingloriously, of course. Engage.
This show is produced by Dean Devlin and Mark A. Altman and is an Electric Surge Network production.